value is
Nationwide time, 5 o'clock.
Learn about smart betting strategies with AnyBet. Bet wisely, enjoy responsibly, and maximize your success. The temperature by AnyBet is
31 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 30 out west in Montego Bay.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Robian Williams.
In Nationwide News at this hour, retired Justice Seymour Panton accuses a member of the governing JLP of inviting harm on members of the Integrity Commission.
The accusation forms part of a larger broadside launched against the JLP and its youth arm in the Commission's annual report.
And the Commission has certified only 3,654 of the nearly 200,000 statutory declarations filed since 2018.
The Senate passes legislation to increase penalties for those engaged in paradial larceny.
The PMP has rejected Sarah's explanation about the deaths of 24 premature babies at the Victoria Jubilee Hospital.
The explanation given that prematurity is the cause of these deaths is unacceptable. Prematurity is a medical condition, not a cause of death.
In news from the rest of the world, Trump administration to end deportation relief for Haitian migrants.
Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo signed long-awaited peace deal in Washington.
In headline sports, West Indies on the verge of massive defeat as Australia takes full control on day 3 of first test in Barbados.
And later in our broadcast, in the cover story at 5:35, according to the Integrity Commission's annual report for the 2024-2025 fiscal year, 2 additional parliamentarians are now under investigation for illicit enrichment. We'll take you through key aspects of the report.
In public opinion at 6:26, we ask, how much is too much to spend on a first date? Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio. You can message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693, and you can also leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide90FM.
In the nation's business at 6:40, the first batch of buses under the government's new rural school bus system officially arrived in the country on Sunday. We'll hear from the Transport Minister Darrell Vaz.
And at 8, it's the A-Team with Dennis Brooks.
All these and more as we take you home on air on your mobile, Nationwide 90 FM, Nationwide Radio, JM.com, and on the Nationwide app. It's available on the Google Play and the App Store. This Friday afternoon, it's the final Friday of June 27, 2025.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
And now to the details. Former chairman of the Integrity Commission, retired Justice Seymour Panton, has accused a member of the governing Jamaica Labour Party, the JLP, of inviting harm on members of the anti-corruption body. The accusation forms part of a larger broadside launched against the governing party and its youth arm in the Commission's annual report. The retired justice has described the entire matter as shameful. Mahiri Stewart has more in this report.
Justice Panton's tenure as head of the anti-corruption body came to an end in February. He has been replaced by retired Justice Carol Lawrence Beswick. But before departing the organization, Panton had a parting shot. He made sure to make known his surprise and disappointment at the actions of government lawmakers. Panton described their behavior as antagonistic. He accused members of the JLP of making false statements about the commission and libeling its leaders. The former chairman pointed to a particular instance where he says a female legislator went to what he says was the extreme step of using social media to post images of members of the commission along with outright lies. Panton says the post could be interpreted as an invitation to harm members of the commission. The former IC chairman does not name the female parliamentarian. But he says the JLP's youth arm, Young Jamaica, joined its parent party in attacking and libeling the members of the commission. Justice Panton is also still unhappy with the fact that to date, House Speaker Juliet Holness has not responded to a complaint sent to her about Everald Warmington's conduct. Panton says he's surprised that Warmington remains a member of the parliamentary committee overseeing the Integrity Commission. The retired justice has accused the government lawmaker of seemingly assuming the lead role in an effort to dismantle the Integrity Commission by removing the Auditor General and altering qualifications for membership on the body. Panton is warning that if this is done, the anti-corruption body will suffer the fate of the political ombudsman. The political ombudsman's office was recently subsumed under the Electoral Commission of Jamaica. Panton ends his remarks by reminding all public officials of their oath of office. He says their duty is to Jamaica. The retired jurist ends by declaring that there should be no compromise when it comes to ethical conduct and integrity in public life. Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
2 additional parliamentarians are now under investigation by the Integrity Commission for illicit enrichment. That's according to the Integrity Commission's annual report for the 2024-2025 fiscal year. The report was tabled in the Senate on Friday. A member of the Senate and 5 councillors have also joined the list of individuals referred to the Commission for illicit enrichment and/or providing false information to the Commission. Nationwide's Siobhan Campbell has been going through the document and filed this report.
Shocking speculation gripped the nation in 2023 when it was first revealed by the Integrity Commission that 6 parliamentarians and 28 public officials were referred to it for investigation of allegations of illicit enrichment. The question on the minds of many in the country: who were the illicit 6? That number further increased in 2024 to 8, with an additional 2 parliamentarians being probed by the anti-corruption body. According to its latest report, 2 more parliamentarians are now under investigation, bringing the total to 10 in 2025. It's now clear that Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness was one of the individuals under such a probe. 34 public officials are now similarly being investigated by the Integrity Commission between the periods 2023 and 2025. Illicit enrichment is a breach of Sections 14 and 15 of the Corruption Prevention Act 2001. The section says that where a public servant owns assets disproportionate to their lawful earnings and, upon being requested by the Commission, gives an explanation which is not considered to be satisfactory, they shall be liable for prosecution for the offense of illicit enrichment. The latest report notes that since its inception in 2018, 13 members of Parliament have been referred to the Integrity Commission for investigation for potential illicit enrichment and/or false information claims. Also joining the list this year is 1 member of the Senate. An additional 5 councillors at the local government level were similarly referred to the Commission. This brings the total number of councillors referred since 2018 to 7. However, over the period 2018 to 2025, the Integrity Commission says it has closed 6 potential illicit enrichment and/or false information probes after investigation or preliminary inquiry involving members of Parliament. Similarly, 11 such probes have been closed in the case of public officials and 1 involving a councillor. A single case involving a member of Parliament has been referred for criminal prosecution over the period. This is most likely in reference to South Trelawney MP, Marissa Dalrymple Filbert. The former Speaker of the House of Representatives was fined earlier this year after pleading guilty to breaching the Integrity Commission Act. The parliamentarian found herself in trouble with the law after failing to properly declare ownership of a motor vehicle in her statutory declarations over a 6-year period beginning in 2015. This would suggest that 6 remaining MPs and 1 senator are still actively being investigated for either illicit enrichment or providing the Integrity Commission with false information. 2 councillors have been similarly recommended for prosecution. It's uncertain what impact the 261-page report will have, being tabled so close to anticipated general elections. Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, of the nearly 190,000 statutory declarations received by the Integrity Commission since 2018, only just over 3,000 have actually been certified. Just over 14,000 of that number have been examined for the 7-year period. 476 statutory declarations have been submitted to the Commission on behalf of members of Parliament. Of that number, 398 have been certified. In the upper house, 156 statutory declarations have been submitted by senators. 87 have been fully certified by the Integrity Commission. Over 1,400 statutory declarations have been submitted by councillors. Of that number, just under 360 have been examined by the Commission, with only 64 being certified. And judicial officers and councillors tie for the lowest compliance rate among public officials. As of March 31, 2025, both categories have a compliance rate of 74%. In the case of judicial officers, this is a decline of 6 points compared to 2024. The rate among permanent secretaries as of this year was 88%. This was followed by heads of entities at 82%.
Opposition spokesman on health Dr. Alfred Dawes is rejecting findings that the recent deaths of newborns at the Victoria Jubilee Hospital in Kingston were mostly due to premature births. The Southeast Regional Health Authority SARA provided the update following news that 24 babies have died at the hospital since the start of June. According to SARA, most of the babies were born prematurely and were already at risk of serious illness. But Dr. Dawes is not convinced.
The explanation given that prematurity is the cause of these deaths is unacceptable. Prematurity is a medical condition, not a cause of death. This points to a deeper systemic failure in the care for newborns. Victoria Jubilee continues to suffer from overcrowding, understaffing, and outdated infrastructure. There's a chronic lack of essential resources, including cooling blankets, ventilators, and proper parenteral nutrition for neonates. These deficiencies compromise the hospital's ability to manage high-risk pregnancies and provide life-saving neonatal care.
Sarah further explained that the babies had low birth weight and were born too early, making them more vulnerable. It stressed that there's no evidence of infection at the maternal hospital, but it noted that there has been an increase in the neonatal death rate in June when compared to previous months. Dr. Dawes is calling on Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton to provide a detailed report on the number of neonatal deaths at the facility since 2020.
How many neonatal deaths have occurred at VJH annually over the past 5 years? What has been done to improve these outcomes? What budget allocation was made to neonatal care? Was there a breakdown in infection control? And importantly, why was the public not informed sooner?
Dr. Alfred Dawes, opposition spokesman on health and wellness.
The Senate has passed a law to increase penalties for those who engage in predial larceny. Leader of Government Business in the Upper House, Kamina Johnson-Smith, brought the legislation through all its stages on Friday. She says the government is delivering on a long-standing promise to protect farmers and their livelihoods.
Because there are networks, Mr. President. This is profitable business. And as a matter of fact, it is business that even goes beyond our borders. There is the recognition that it's not only guns for drugs that occurs between the criminals in Haiti and Jamaica, but there's guns for food. They bring guns here to exchange for goat and other agricultural produce. But it requires very serious attention. And we're therefore delivering that as an administration.
The amendments are aimed at combating the theft of agricultural produce, livestock, and fish. Minister Johnson-Smith says upon enactment, the bill will strengthen the penalties for offences committed under the Predial Larceny Act. She further indicated that the bill will also introduce consequential amendments to critical enactments under other pieces of legislation.
Mr. President, so the intention is not just to train and appoint new wardens, but we're empowering them to be able to do the important work of monitoring and enforcement that is needed to protect our farmers. Mr. President, they're going to apply consequential amendments to critical enactments that are named in the first schedule to strengthen weak penalties under certain pieces of legislation, which include the Trespass Act, the Malicious Injuries to Properties Act, Unlawful Possession of Property Act, and the Country Fires Act. So we're looking at all the aspects that affect farming, Mr. President.
Kamina Johnson-Smith, the Leader of Government Business in the Senate. The bill passed with 3 amendments. You're listening to the news on Nationwide at 5. We'll have more after these.
Annual eye examinations not only assess your vision but may be life-saving. Eye tests may detect serious health issues that go beyond your vision, including diabetes, hypertension, and some cancers. Call IQ Optical to schedule your comprehensive eye test today. The time by IQ Optical is...
It's 15 minutes after 5.
Rentokil Initial offers air purification solutions with triple filtration and unique auto-sensing capabilities that neutralizes malodor and replaces it with clean air. Call Rentokil Initial at 926-4236 for more details.
The temperature by Rent-A-Kill is
31 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 30 out west in Montego Bay.
Get on the rum with Appleton Estate this month. Dive into the history, craftsmanship, and experience a taste of Jamaican excellence. Indulge in your favorite Appleton Estate cocktails and food pairings available at participating restaurants. Or receive a complimentary Appleton 8-year-old Reserve 200 ml when you purchase a bottle of Appleton Estate's Signature Blend 750 ml while stocks last at participating outlets. Appleton Estate. Land on the extraordinary. Follow us at Appleton Estate JA to get on the rum. Must be 18 years or older to drink. Drink responsibly.
Is your money idling when it could be thriving? With CIBC Caribbean's fixed deposit offering, you can take charge of your cash. With 50,000 Jamaican to start, choose terms from 30 days to 2 years. Lock in your funds and enjoy premium rates guaranteed to grow your wealth. Whether you're eyeing short or long-term gains, our fixed deposit account puts you firmly in control of your money. Now is the time to open a CIBC fixed deposit account and start earning more today. CIBC, ambitions made real.
Tired of waiting for your ride? Want safety and peace of mind on every journey? Amber On Time is here! With verified drivers, real-time vehicle tracking, and panic button with armed security response, your safety is our priority. Reliable service, easy booking, premium experience, it's all just a tap away. Download Amber On Time today!
Continuing the news, Government Senator Abka Fitzhenley says the Mark Golding-led opposition PNP cannot be trusted to tell the Jamaican people the truth. Senator Fitzhenley made the declaration while he addressed the upper house of Parliament today during a debate on the Pradial Larceny Bill. Fitzhenley rejects allegations made this week by opposition spokesman on justice, Senator Donna Scott Motley. Dana Davey reports.
Senator Fitzhenley rebutted what he noted is a raft of false information being spoken by PNP spokespersons, including Senator Scott Motley. Mrs. Scott Motley told a PNP meeting earlier this week that the government was moving to block the tabling of the Integrity Commission's annual report by bringing a premature end to the parliamentary term. Senator Fitzhenley says this is not so.
This nation listened to Senator Donna Scott Motley suggesting that the administration was moving to terminate the current parliamentary term because we were seeking to circumvent the tabling of a document by the Integrity Commission. A senator who knows that when a parliamentary term is being brought to an end, there's usually an indication from either the leader of government business of either house, the Speaker, or the President of the Senate. No such indication came, where the Senator visited upon a platform and told a barefaced lie that the administration was seeking to circumvent the tabling of the Integrity Commission document. It's unfortunate.
Senator Fitzhenley also challenged another claim by Senator Scott Motley.
The Senator also used the political platform, sir, to suggest that 8 government parliamentarians are under investigation for a particular offense. Again, absolutely false. And you know what? Credible print media has corroborated the falsehood of such a statement. Not long ago, the Jamaica Observer told us that at least 5 opposition parliamentarians are under investigation for illicit enrichment. The senator using the political platform to spread falsehood on the government of Jamaica is unacceptable, unbecoming, and should not be tolerated.
Fitzhenley also challenged several recent inaccurate statements made by opposition members, including Peter Bunting and Ian Hales. Bunting had claimed that work was stopped on a school because the government had failed to pay a contractor, a claim the contractor denied. And Hales had accused the government of using state resources to gift tanks to a businessman, but the businessman provided receipts to support his claim that he bought the tanks himself.
And you see, sir, there was a time when, in dismissing false information, I would use words such as specious, mendacious, duplicitous. It's a fallacious narrative. But the consistency has forced me to a point, sir, where I have to call it out for what it is. Barefaced lies being told by the opposition. And I alert the people of Jamaica that the current Mark Golding-led opposition, as evidenced by their submissions during this debate on the Predial Larceny Act, has arrived at a point where every single word they utter has to be seriously questioned. They cannot be trusted to speak the truth to the people of Jamaica.
Dana Davey for Nationwide News.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
The World in a Minute.
The Trump administration is to end deportation protection for over 500,000 Haitian migrants. The temporary protected status, TPS, for some 521,000 Haitians, which was shortened earlier this year, will be terminated come September 2. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security made the announcement today. This is the latest move by the U.S. government to strip migrants of legal status as it ramps up deportations. In a statement, a spokesperson for the department said the environmental situation in Haiti has improved enough that it is safe for Haitian citizens to return home. However, the statement did not explain what exactly had changed to lessen the risk. Advocates argue that the conditions in Haiti warrant extending the relief.
Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo have signed a peace deal in Washington. The deal aims to end decades of devastating conflict between the two neighbors and potentially grant the U.S. lucrative mineral access. It demands the disengagement, the disarmament, and conditional integration of armed groups fighting in eastern DR Congo. The deal was signed by the Congolese and Rwandan foreign ministers at the U.S. State Department on Friday. Flanked by Vice President J.D. Vance, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and delegates from DR Congo and Rwanda in the Oval Office, Trump called the peace treaty a glorious triumph. Reacting to the deal, U.S. President Donald Trump said today the violence and destruction come to an end, and the entire region begins a new chapter of hope and opportunity.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour, retired Justice Seymour Panton accuses a member of the governing JLP of inviting harm on members of the Integrity Commission.
The Senate passes legislation to increase penalties for those who engage in predial larceny.
The PNP has rejected Sarah's explanation about the deaths of 24 premature babies at the Victoria Jubilee Hospital. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Robianne Williams.
Listeners, you can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app. It's available on the Google Play and the App Store. News next, the headlines at 6.
Delicious meals, poolside cocktails, right on the beach. Disconnect from your daily worries and reconnect with the one you love. There's no paradise like home. This summer, enjoy a romantic all-inclusive escape at Couples Tower Isle, Couples Sanssouci, Couples Negril, or Couples Swept Away from $295 USD per night. Take advantage of this offer today by visiting Couples Resorts at couples.com. Conditions apply.
Exciting news! The Design Studio on Nationwide 90 FM just got a whole lot bigger. Join us this and every Saturday now from 1 to 3 p.m. for an exclusive show that elevates your home, mind, and soul. Discover the latest interior design trends to create your dream sanctuary. Unlock your true potential with personal growth strategies. Nourish your body and spirit with expert wellness tips. Don't miss out on the inspiration you need to live your best life. Tune in to the Design Studio this and every Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m. and take the first step towards a more fulfilling you.
Make me sweat, make me harder.
Sports at 5 is brought to you by Total Tools. Total Tools, every tool, every trade.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Australia beat the West Indies by 151 runs at the Kensington Oval about 20 minutes ago to take a 1-0 lead in their three-match test series, set 301 for victory. The West Indies were dismissed for 141 near the end of the third day. Shamar Joseph played a superb cameo. He made 44 of 20 balls to top score for the Caribbean team. He shared in a half-century ninth wicket stand with Justin Greaves, who got second top score of 38 not out. Josh Hazelwood ripped through the heart of the West Indies top order with 5 for 41 as John Campbell, 23, and Casey Carthy, 23, provided the only West Indies show of resistance early. Brandon King made naught. Shea Hope and the captain Rustin Chase went for 2 apiece. The Aussies, who resumed the third day on 92 for 4, were bowled out for 310 with steady half centuries from Alex Carey, 65, Bill Webster, 63, and Travis Head, 61. Shamar Joseph bagged 5 for 87 and 9 wickets in the game, while Alzari Joseph claimed 2 for 65. The teams will now head to Grenada for the second test starting next week. A member of the West Indies squad, currently playing Australia in Barbados, is facing a slew of rape and sexual assault allegations. The player is said to be from Guyana and was held in custody for a period of time before he was released on bond. At least at the last count, 11 women have contacted reporters in Guyana with their story, and one has made an official report to the police. According to the reports, the alleged incidents took place between 2022 and last year. Cricket West Indies says it had not heard about the alleged incidents. The attorney representing one of the alleged victims says they're now waiting on answers from local police as to why the player was offered bail. The National Stadium is buzzing with anticipation as the 100-meter semi-finals take center stage on day number 2 of the J3's National Athletics Championship, and dare I say, not just the semi-finals, but the finals, which will go off 2 hours after the semi-finals. The women's 100-meter semi-finals are up first. They're scheduled to go off at 6:30 this evening. Nationwide's Alric Swaby is among those already inside the stadium, and he sets up the rest of the evening.
Good afternoon, Wayne. Good afternoon to listeners. Yes, I'm coming from the National Stadium for day 2 of the J3 Puma National Junior and Senior Championship. Action on the track has been halted for the opening ceremony. We're hearing remarks from Minister of Sports, Elizabeth Green, for the hear from the President of the J3, Ross Gale, and the Treasurer, Ludlow Watt. The owner of the grandstand is open, and there are quite a few spectators in the stand. I guess the big draw is the Shelley and Fraser Prize in the women's 100 meters semi-finals later this evening. I can see several fans and several people from our Ashoka Road community coming out with t-shirts with her image and the word woman of our style on it as well. Now, like I said, Children's Fraser Prize is a big draw for the 100 meters semi-final.
Alric,
hello?
Give me 1 second there. You're competing with, is the opening ceremony going on at the moment?
That's what I was saying. It's the opening ceremony. We are currently here in Olivia Babsy Greens, the Minister of Sport. And like I said, there are several fans, spectators from the Ashoka Road community coming out to celebrate and honor Shelley and Fraser Prize. They are wearing t-shirts emblazoned with her image and the words "Woman of Our Soil." Now, apart from Shelley and Fraser Prize, the 100-meter semifinals will also feature the Clayton twins, Tia and Tina, as well as Sharika Jackson. Now, earlier, Jason Pitter of Kingston College, he would have won heat 1 of the under-18 boys 400 meters in 47.72 seconds. Keandre Downer of Homewood was second in 49.19, and Lacovia High's Nicholas James third in 49.43. Now heat 2 went to Deshaun Walker, 48.58. Michael Willis of Calabar, second in 49.95, and Petersfield Alonzo James third in 50.47 seconds. So when that's what's been happening, and I don't know if you can still hear, but we are still having hearing remarks from Minister of Sports, Oliver Babs-Green.
Yeah, man, I'm hearing you. One more thing, though, Alric. We mentioned this. First, the 100 meters will be the highlight of day number 2. What are people in the stadium saying about it? Are they looking forward to it without question? But who are they looking forward to take it tonight? Have you heard anything from them?
Well, like I said earlier, everyone seems to come out to see Shelley and Fraser Price. It's her farewell to Jamaica. This is the last she'll be competing, she said, at the National Stadium. So most is out for her farewell race. And then when you look in the stands, there are several persons from the Ashika Road community wearing T-shirts with her image and the words, like I said earlier, woman of our soil. So most persons that are coming out, they want to see 100 meters, but they want to see Shelley in her farewell race.
Well, you're still going to be there at 6:05 when we come back for our major sportscast. And by then, you'll be able to tell us a bit more because the opening ceremony would have been done and dusted and 1 or 2 more events would have been out of the way as well. So we join you at about 6:05, 6:06 there about this evening for more, right?
I will be here.
So that's Alric Swaby from our sports department here at the National Stadium, setting the stage for the evening session on day 2 of the National Championship up there at the National Stadium. In case you missed it, the West Indies beaten a short time ago by Australia inside 3 days. They lost by 151 runs in the opening cricket test at the Kensington Oval in Bridgetown, Barbados, and they head now to Grenada for test number 2. That's it for sports. We're going to be back, as you heard, at 6:05, 6:06 thereabout for more in sports.
Sports at 5 was brought to you by Total Tools. Total Tools, every tool, every trade. From Kingston to the world, from Montego Bay to new adventures, and from Ocherias to endless possibilities. Wherever you're headed, we will proudly take you there. Jamaica's Airport, your global gateway. The temperature brought to you by the Airports Authority of Jamaica is
31 degrees Celsius here in the nation's capital, Kingston. It's 30 out west in Montego Bay.
We don't want to have a security force where people fear our police more than they fear gunmen. Every officer here, what they really want when they walk out in their community is that people say, I want my son to follow in your footsteps. They want respect, and they know they can't get that respect if people just fear them as how they fear criminals. So let us invest in building a security force that we can all be proud of. I want the security force that we are building to have ultimate and utmost respect for human rights. Let us make our JCF the force for good, the force to protect us. There were transgressions in the past. There are members of the force who they haven't got the memo yet, but I'm certain that the system that is in place in the JCF with the new leadership and command, that when officers violate, they will be dealt with. This is a world-class policing institution that we are building, one in which you can be proud and one that will be an example for the rest of the region.
The proceeding was brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
Residents of Portmore, you spoke and we listened. JPS is returning to the Sunshine City. Starting July 2025, you'll be able to visit the My JPS Care Hub inside Fontana Portmore. Get answers to queries related to billing, payment, prepaid electricity, service requests, and more. Our agents will be on the ground to ensure you are in and out in no time. Look out for the My JPS Care Hub in Fontana Portmore, coming this July. JPS, powering what matters.
Wellington Dental believes that a smile tells 1,000 words. They are dedicated to giving their patients high-quality dental care, offering a full range of dental services so all of your family's needs are met under one roof. Fillings, extractions, crowns, bridges, and much more. They also accept patients using wheelchair. Visit Wellington Dental, 57 Wellington Street, Spanish Town's premier dental provider. Call them today at 876-749-3515.
Are your devices accurate? Are they calibrated? Even small errors can lead to big problems. That's why Jamaicans trust the Bureau of Standards Jamaica. From food to fuel, health to hardware, our metrology and testing division provides world-class calibration and measurement services to keep your devices precise and your business meeting global standards. Whether you're weighing goods, monitoring temperature, or relying on the accuracy of devices, we get it right every time. Our advanced equipment and experts help you move with confidence. Call 876-618-1534 or visit bsj.org.jm. The Bureau of Standards Jamaica. From lab to market, the power of precision, powering accuracy, ensuring safety.
Enough power tool, big to small. Jack and my figure dig the wall. Our Total Tools. Beat back a figure trim the lawn. We have everything your job demand. Total Tools. We rent them, sell them and fix them. Also give Total Tools a call. When I say home improvement, landscape construction, or Total Tools are your option. Home improvement, landscape construction, Total Tools are your option.
Total Tools, located at 102 Main Street, Ocho Rios, 34 Slipe Road, Kingston.
And lot C6 Jacksaw, Sentence Bay. Call us today.
Residents of Portmore, you spoke and we listened. JPS is returning to the Sunshine City. Starting July 2025, you'll be able to visit the My JPS Care Hub inside Fontana Portmore. Get answers to queries related to billing, payment, prepaid electricity, service requests, and more. Our agents will be on the ground to ensure you are in and out in no time. Look out for the My JPS Care Hub in Fontana Portmore, coming this July. JPS, powering what matters.
Good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us here for Nationwide at 5. My name is Ricardo Brooks.
Top of the afternoon to you, Sir Ricardo. Top of the afternoon to all our listeners on the 90 FM band and, of course, our viewers over there on YouTube. How are you, my brother?
I'm doing well, my friend. How are you?
Give thanks, man. Give thanks.
Far agree with you, man. You catch the house color.
You have jokes on a Friday, I see.
Listeners, the Integrity Commission has tabled its annual report. It's the 7th annual report since the commission came into operation. We're going to take you through some of the key points in this report. Well, first of all, in his parting message, former chairman of the Integrity Commission, retired Justice Seymour Panton, he has accused a member of the governing Jamaica Labour Party of inviting harm on members of the anti-corruption body. Now, this accusation forms part of a larger broadside that he launched against the governing party and its youth arm in this annual report.
The retired justice has described the entire matter as shameful. Here's Mahir Stewart with more in this report.
Justice Panton's tenure as head of the anti-corruption body came to an end in February. He has been replaced by retired Justice Carol Lawrence Beswick. But before departing the organization, Panton had a parting shot. He made sure to make known his surprise and disappointment at the actions of government lawmakers. Panton described their behavior as antagonistic. He accused members of the JLP of making false statements about the commission and libeling its leaders. The former chairman pointed to a particular instance where he says a female legislator went to what he says was the extreme step of using social media to post images of members of the commission along with outright lies. Panton says the post could be interpreted as an invitation to harm members of the commission. The former IC chairman does not name the female parliamentarian. But he says the JLP's youth arm, Young Jamaica, joined its parent party in attacking and libeling the members of the commission. Justice Panton is also still unhappy with the fact that to date, House Speaker Juliet Holness has not responded to a complaint sent to her about Everald Warmington's conduct. Panton says he's surprised that Warmington remains a member of the parliamentary committee overseeing the Integrity Commission. The retired justice has accused the government lawmaker of seemingly assuming the lead role in an effort to dismantle the Integrity Commission by removing the Auditor General and altering qualifications for membership on the body. Panton is warning that if this is done, the anti-corruption body will suffer the fate of the political ombudsman. The political ombudsman's office was recently subsumed under the Electoral Commission of Jamaica. Panton ends his remarks by reminding all public officials of their oath of office. He says their duty is to Jamaica. The retired jurist ends by declaring that there should be no compromise when it comes to ethical conduct and integrity in public life. Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
Thanks, Mahiri. You know, Tyrone, I've read the former chairman's remarks, and it brought me back to his appearance before the Parliament. I understand that he feels aggrieved and he feels that the Commission has been unfairly targeted by government MPs, and perhaps he's right. But I don't know if this is helpful in a situation where this commission, I keep saying it, requires bipartisan, unanimous support. And for those who may wish it harm, not for any other reason except that they have convinced themselves that it is now a PNP body, I don't know if these comments are helpful.
Well, let me tell you, I agree with you that some of what has been said by some of the members of Parliament, particularly those, not particularly, coming from some of those on the government side of the aisle, yeah, it requires. It leaves a lot to be desired. I'm trying to be very measured with my pronouncements here, but it leaves a lot to be desired. But the former chairman needs to also accept some amount of responsibility. I gather he went out swinging, but there is no hint of any contrition for his behavior when he appeared before the legislators, where he treated them with contempt, basically. Right, and that is not becoming of the chairman of the Integrity Commission at all. That kind of behavior, and the remarks he offered, as I said, during, I think it was Clip Views Online, were more suited for another bar and not the bar that he's known to be called to, and has distinguished himself at. Yes, and so there's blame to go all around, but we need Integrity Commission, Ricardo, and so I'd associate myself with your comments. We need the Integrity Commission. We know why we've gotten to this point, and we can't destroy what we need.
And I think we should remind ourselves of what I consider the original sin. The fact that having gotten something wrong in terms of how they handle the tabling of that initial report, which accused the Prime Minister or referred him for prosecution, they never apologized for that. In fact, the very Seymour Panton doubled down as if to suggest there was nothing to apologize for. And I think things went awry from then, and I agree with you. I would have liked to see some contrition and some kind of guidance as to how he believes the relationship between the Parliament and this body, which is a commission of the Parliament. I keep reminding myself, a commission of the Parliament. It reports to the Parliament. How that relationship can be salvaged, because right now it's not in a good place.
No, it's not. And it does not serve Jamaica well. Yes, it does not serve Jamaica well. And I see some folks in the chat asking what have the government MPs done wrong. In particular, Everett Warmington has been particularly egregious with his attacks on the Integrity Commission. It's not becoming, and it takes us nowhere. It absolutely does not help the country. And in addition to reminding ourselves of that error, Ricardo, one of the other things we must be mindful of is the reason we need the Integrity Commission in the first place.
Yes. We ought not to pretend that corruption is not a serious problem in this country.
Absolutely. At our own peril, we go down that road.
Yeah. On that matter of corruption, well, according to the report, 2 additional parliamentarians are now under investigation for illicit enrichment. Yeah, that report, of course, was tabled in the Senate today. A member of the Senate and 5 councillors have also joined the list of individuals referred to the Commission for illicit enrichment and or providing false information to the Commission. We'll have to take the break and come back with a wrap. All right, let's take the break, and then you'll hear what Siobhan Campbell has found in his reading of the document.
Clear
Clear your barrels and personal shipments with ease and convenience. Request a customs contactless clearance today through CCP at jca.gov.jm. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
5:44.
Bird Shack fried chicken always ready. Bird Shack, original crispy. Bird Shack, Cajun spicy. Bird Shack, a barbecue. Bird Shack, we are go a Bird Shack.
The temperature brought to you by Bird Shack Fried Chicken in Kingston, Montego Bay, and Ocho Rios is...
It's 30 degrees Celsius here in Kingston, 28 out west in Montego Bay.
Are you burning up with this summer heat?
The place hot, man.
Get cool now with a Hisense air conditioner.
I feel good.
With advanced energy-saving inverter technology and whisper quiet operation, beat this heat with Hisense. Available at Aliabra Brands Limited, 64 Hagley Park Road, or call 876-676-5951 now.
So good. So good. I got you.
Share in the experience at Fontana Pharmacy. We have a wide variety of items in store just for you. Fill your prescriptions while you shop. And senior citizens enjoy 10% off. Shop household, cosmetics, toys, and many other departments. We also offer curbside pickup and delivery. Visit our website at fontanapharmacy.com. Fontana Pharmacy, where it's all good inside.
Plug into the sun with Peak Energy Solutions. We are your affordable provider for everything solar. Grid tie or off-grid solar P systems, solar air conditioners, panels, lithium batteries, solar supplies, and installation. Visit us at Shop 1, 3 Mosquito Valley Road, Red Hills, St. Andrew. Call 876-279-8820 or 944-0668. Or email us at peakenergysolutionsja@gmail.com. Peak Energy for everything solar.
Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nationwide at 5. It's the cover story. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
Tyrone Reed.
And we're taking you through the Integrity Commission's annual report tabled in the Senate. Now, one of the standout aspects of this report, 2 additional parliamentarians are now under investigation for illicit enrichment. Here's Siobhan Campbell's report.
Shock and speculation gripped the nation in 2023 when it was first revealed by the Integrity Commission that 6 parliamentarians and 28 public officials were referred to it for investigation of allegations of illicit enrichment. The question on the minds of many in the country: who were the illicit 6? That number further increased in 2024 to 8, with an additional 2 parliamentarians being probed by the anti-corruption body. According to its latest report, 2 more parliamentarians are now under investigation, bringing the total to 10 in 2025. It's now clear that Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness was one of the individuals under such a probe. 34 public officials are now similarly being investigated by the Integrity Commission between the periods 2023 and 2025. Illicit enrichment is a breach of Sections 14 and 15 of the Corruption Prevention Act 2001. The section says that where a public servant owns assets disproportionate to their lawful earnings and, upon being requested by the Commission, gives an explanation which is not considered to be satisfactory, they shall be liable for prosecution for the offense of illicit enrichment. The latest report notes that since its inception in 2018, 13 members of Parliament have been referred to the Integrity Commission for investigation for potential illicit enrichment and/or false information claims. Also joining the list this year is 1 member of the Senate. An additional 5 councillors at the local government level were similarly referred to the Commission. This brings the total number of councillors referred since 2018 to 7. However, over the period 2018 to 2025, the Integrity Commission says it has closed 6 potential illicit enrichment and/or false information probes after investigation or preliminary inquiry involving members of Parliament. Similarly, 11 such probes have been closed in the case of public officials and 1 involving a councillor. A single case involving a member of Parliament has been referred for criminal prosecution over the period. This is most likely in reference to South Trelawney MP, Marissa Dalrymple Filbert. The former Speaker of the House of Representatives was fined earlier this year after pleading guilty to breaching the Integrity Commission Act. The parliamentarian found herself in trouble with the law after failing to properly declare ownership of a motor vehicle in her statutory declarations over a 6-year period beginning in 2015. This would suggest that 6 remaining MPs and 1 senator are still actively being investigated for either illicit enrichment or providing the Integrity Commission with false information. 2 councillors have been similarly recommended for prosecution. It's uncertain what impact the 261-page report will have, being tabled so close to anticipated general elections. Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
My learned friend Ricardo, and may I invite you and our well-thinking listeners to weigh in on what Siobhan just revealed there. 2 additional parliamentarians are now under investigation by the Integrity Commission for illicit enrichment. We do not know who these people are. We saw what happened when the so-called illicit 6 dropped. Do you think this is withholding the identity of these individuals is doing more harm than it is doing good, based on what we've seen when the Integrity Commission gave its last report?
I think so. And, you know, I've struggled with this.
What you think, when you say you think
that
so,
harm is being done.
More than good, right?
Yeah, and I struggle with this question of the gag clause because I fully appreciate the intent behind it and why the lawmakers thought it important, especially coming from the history of the Contractor General, the former Contractor General who demitted office now as the Executive Director of the Integrity Commission. So I understand the ill they were trying to remedy. I don't know, though, that it has served its purpose, in that what has happened is that it's created a whole nother kind of sickness, which is that public discussion and public confidence in the parliament as a whole is being affected, because the public now believes that there are people sitting in the parliament passing laws and may very well be reviewing this very act, who this commission believes may have come into their earnings and their wealth unlawfully. I think that's very problematic because, again, I worry about how it affects public confidence in the institution as a whole. And I worry also, Tyrone, listeners, that it may be furthering this idea that all politicians are thieves. I don't know if I would want to be a member of the parliament who know that I am on the up and up. And yet, the Jamaican people will constantly hold a cloud over my head asking, could you be one of them? I don't know. In the final analysis, I think that's more harmful.
So we're smearing the entire parliament. And I think it was unwise. I don't think it's the best course of action that our legislators took to impose this gag clause. Yeah, you cannot.
But again, Tyrone, I want to stress that I understand the thinking, because we were in the wild, wild west back in the day.
Some people.
Hold on, Tyrone. Remember, some people even died without their names ever having been cleared. That when their names were, I can think, for example, of Joseph Hibbert. He comes to mind. The former state minister.
You said some, though.
There are others. No, there are others. There are others, but he comes to mind most prominently. I think he died before the exoneration came. So there was a genuine problem, and we shouldn't pretend that there wasn't a problem.
No, but here's the thing now. In when you have to balance the scales, you either think, okay, the potential harm to the reputation of a public official versus the country successfully fighting against corruption in a way that engenders confidence in the public square, in the minds of the public. And what they did was they erred on the side of their own reputations. That is what happened, as opposed to erring on the side of successfully fighting corruption with transparency involved in the process. And that has proven to be the wrong decision, because as you now see it is smearing the entire reputation of parliamentarians because of this mudslinging and who is the illicit six, and this political party is saying not my people, the other one is saying not my people, and everybody now is under the cloud of suspicion.
Yes.
It does not help, and it's because our politicians chose to err on the side of protecting their own reputation.
Right. So I agree with you on the end point. I differ, obviously, when you say that erring on the side of protecting their reputations. I don't know. You're putting me in a very difficult position in Tyrone, because you're forcing me to defend politicians. But I don't know. I don't know, my brother, that when one enters politics or puts themselves forward for political office, then they give up their right to their reputation. And I think sometimes we unfairly, I think sometimes we unfairly posture as if they don't have that right. And that worries me. But in the final analysis, I come down on the side that I think more harm is being done. But I just want us to be sensitive.
I just want to agree with you. I just want to agree with you, because I know we have to move on. But I agree with you that I don't think you vacate the right to your reputation. That's not what I'm arguing. But I'm saying what is, there's this famous quote about what is allowed in a demonstrably justified in a free and democratic society.
Yes.
And I'm saying in the fight against corruption, yes, saying that you're investigating so and so, I don't believe to be something that is not demonstrably justified in a free and democratic society that is trying to rid itself of the scourge of corruption. And that is the point I'm making. I'm not suggesting that they're not entitled to their reputation. I would never suggest that.
Here's my response.
Every person is entitled to their reputation.
Here's my response to that. There are standards and then there are standards. So you've gone for the constitutional standard. Fine. But then let us consider the practical political standard, yeah? Because you know, Tyrone, you know it well. You've been at this longer than I have. That the mere mention that one is under investigation sometimes permanently damages reputations. And unfortunately, and perhaps we in the media should be blamed for this. Hold on, Tyrone, I see you shaking your head, but hear me out.
Yeah,
perhaps,
I'm shaking my head.
Perhaps we should be blamed for this, because sometimes when we blow up the fact that an investigation has been launched, we name who has been investigated and who is being investigated. If and when that time comes that nothing came of it, I don't know that the same prominence is usually given. So I admit myself worried about how people's reputation could suffer. But again, on the balance, I come down on the fact that we must consider lifting the clause.
If I may be briefly allowed to respond to that. How many politicians can you blame? Can you name whose reputation has been irreparably harmed by an investigation to the point where they fail to be reelected, which is really what politicians aspire to? How many of them can you name?
Hold on. So again, I said to you, there are standards and then there are standards. I mentioned Joseph Hibbert. Hold on. I mentioned Joseph Hibbert. I recall Mike Henry was booted from the cabinet. I recall Dr. Andrew Wheatley was booted from the cabinet. Those three come to mind right now. But Tyrone, I am sure.
Have those cases being settled though?
Absolutely.
The case involving Andrew Wheatley has been settled?
Absolutely. In fact, my recollection was that the final report did not find him guilty of anything. And said that he, as a minister, did his job. I don't know that he has ever recovered. Certainly, he's been re-elected. He holds a pretty safe seat.
Which is where I want to go. The ultimate test. Hold on, because you think you're shifting the barometer.
No, but I conceded that there are standards and then there are standards.
Elected. Right.
So your standard is just election to the parliament.
Right.
Mine is how they are perceived. Mine is how they are perceived thereafter, and whether they then get the opportunity to be even considered for a seat in the cabinet.
But your perception can be void of the fact that they are not rendered unelectable.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. Right? I'm not saying that. And I suppose it depends on where they're running. That's also something to consider.
but to the point that they are not rendered as someone who the public sees, because the public has rejected individuals.
Yeah.
It is their right, and they have demonstrated that they will carry out that right by rejecting people. We see that.
Yeah.
Even people with high national profiles have been rejected by the populace. But I'm saying to you, where do we get this notion that this is such an overwhelming problem in Jamaica, that people's reputation are being damaged to the point that they are not being elected again, and they because their names are not being cleared properly? It's part of the maturation of the society, where we need to, the media has a role to play in this. When we report on these matters, we must give it equal prominence,
Right.
reporting that
We
the
agree on
person
that, yes.
has been cleared. So, and now we get it into the psyche of people that an allegation and an investigation
Is not a conclusion.
does not mean that you're guilty.
Absolutely.
We should err on the side of developing the thinking of our people along those lines, as opposed to everybody trying to hide in secrecy. We don't want people's names out there. It's not helping the situation.
We're out of time. My final response. Look, I don't know that the standard is whether you get elected to the parliament. I think sometimes the damage is greater than that. And finally, we agree that the media, as I said, sometimes we perhaps needed to have done better. But your point seems aspirational. You want us to get somewhere. I'm focused on where we are now. And I worry, my brother, that we're not yet there. It's 6 o'clock. It's time for the headlines.
The time brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy is
6 o'clock.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening with the headlines at 6. I'm Mahiri Stewart. The InDrive taxi operator who was arrested in relation to the disappearance of 20-year-old university student Anissa Dilworth has been charged with her murder. 29-year-old Jamar Grant of Bull Bay St. Andrew was charged with kidnapping and murder on Thursday. He has reportedly been in custody since May 10. The charges follow last month's confirmation that skeletal remains found in the Fort Clarence area of South St. Catherine are those of Anissa Dilworth. Dilworth was a first-year pharmaceutical science student at the University of Technology, UTech. She was reported missing on May 7, reportedly after boarding an InDrive taxi. A motor car believed to have been used in the crime was subsequently seized. It's understood the UTech student, who's from Mabay, would frequently use ride-share services as her means of travel around the corporate area. But according to InDrive, records show that Dilworth's last ride using the app was in 2024, before the accused driver's account was created. Leader of government business in the House of Representatives Edmund Bartlett is rejecting as false a claim that he had told his opposition counterpart Philip Paulwell that the parliamentary term would come to an end last week. Senator Lambert Brown made the claim in the Senate on Friday as he attempted to rebut comments made by Senator Abka Fitzhenley.
The member is misleading the Senate because the leader of government business in the House conveyed to Philip Paulwell, the leader of opposition business, that the parliamentary year would have come to an end last week. It is on that basis and that information on which Senator Scott Matley has spoken. The parliamentary secretary knows not of which he speaks.
Lambert Brown, opposition senator. But Mr. Bartlett says Senator Brown is not speaking the truth.
There's absolutely no agreement with regards to proroguing or otherwise taking the summer break on the 24th. Indeed, the bill that I, as Minister of Tourism and Leader of the House, brought, we all agreed that the bill will be taken the following week. The opposition leader and myself spoke about it, and we agreed that fine, it can be taken. And I said I will not begin the debate until next week. So it is very clear that the Parliament was going to continue beyond the 24th. And so it's not only disingenuous, but it's patently false. I understand everybody is trying to make political mileage out of everything, but my God, truth and honesty must find a place somewhere.
Ed Bartlett, leader of government business in the House of Representatives, speaking in a voice recording sent to the media. In a response to queries from our news center on Friday afternoon, Mr. Paulwell said there's been a misunderstanding. He says Mr. Bartlett told him that the sectoral debate would end 1 week earlier than planned. That is June 24 instead of July 1. However, Mr. Paulwell says Mr. Bartlett did not say that Parliament would be on recess. Mr. Paulwell says it was assumed that Parliament would not meet, but that was not communicated to him by Mr. Bartlett. 2 additional parliamentarians are now under investigation by the Integrity Commission for illicit enrichment. That's according to the Integrity Commission's annual report for the 2024-2025 fiscal year. The report was tabled in the Senate on Friday. A member of the Senate and 5 councillors have also joined the list of individuals referred to the Commission for illicit enrichment and/or providing false information to the Commission. Opposition spokesman on health Dr. Alfred Dawes is rejecting findings that the recent deaths of newborn babies at the Victoria Jubilee Hospital in Kingston were mostly due to premature births. The Southeast Regional Health Authority, SERA, provided the update following news that 24 babies have died at the hospital since the start of June. According to SERA, most of the babies were born prematurely and were already at risk of serious illness. But Dr. Dawes is not convinced.
The explanation given that prematurity is the cause of these deaths is unacceptable. Prematurity is a medical condition, not a cause of death. This points to a deeper systemic failure in the care for newborns. Victoria Jubilee continues to suffer from overcrowding, understaffing, and outdated infrastructure. There's a chronic lack of essential resources, including cooling blankets, ventilators, and proper parenteral nutrition for neonates. These deficiencies compromise the hospital's ability to manage high-risk pregnancies and provide life-saving neonatal care.
Sarah further explained that the babies had low birth weight and were born too early, making them more vulnerable. It stressed that there's no evidence of infection at the maternal hospital, but it noted that there has been an increase in the neonatal death rate in June when compared to previous months. Dr. Dawes is calling on Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton to provide a detailed report on the number of neonatal deaths at the facility since 2020.
How many neonatal deaths have occurred at VJH annually over the past 5 years? What has been done to improve these outcomes? What budget allocation was made to neonatal care? Was there a breakdown in infection control? And importantly, why was the public not informed sooner?
Dr. Alfred Dawes, opposition spokesman on health and wellness. The Senate has passed legislation to increase penalties for those who engage in predial larceny. Leader of government business in the Senate, Kamina Johnson-Smith, brought the legislation through all its stages in the upper house on Friday. She says the government is delivering on a long-standing promise to protect farmers and their livelihoods.
Because there are networks, Mr. President. This is profitable business. And as a matter of fact, it is business that even goes beyond our borders. There is the recognition that it's not only guns for drugs that occurs between the criminals in Haiti and Jamaica, but there's guns for food. They bring guns here to exchange for goat and other agricultural produce. But it requires very serious attention. And we're therefore delivering that as an administration.
Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith. The amendments are aimed at combating the theft of agricultural produce, livestock, and fish. Senator Johnson-Smith says upon enactment, the bill will strengthen the penalties for offenses committed under the Predial Larceny Act. Those are the headlines at 6. I'm Mahiri Stewart. Sports is next.
As we enter the peak of hurricane season, don't let downtime disrupt your business. Digicel Business offers secure cloud storage and Jamaica's only Tier 3 certified data center, built to withstand storms and safeguard your data. With 24/7 monitoring, local hosting, and 100% uptime, your operations stay protected no matter the weather. Prepare now. Protect what matters. Call Digicel Business Solutions at 876-469-2677 or visit digicelbusiness.com. Digicel Business Solutions. Stay online, stay protected.
Make a toast to your future. The JTA Cooperative Credit Union is by your side. All educators, the best is what you deserve.
We'll keep your dreams alive.
Competitive loans to help you grow.
We'll take you higher.
Great returns on your savings. A bright future is in the making.
Build the best you with the best credit union. We are committed to serving you.
JTA Cooperative Credit Union, serving our members, impacting lives positively.
Delicious meals, poolside cocktails, right on the beach. Disconnect from your daily worries and reconnect with the one you love. There's no paradise like home. This summer, enjoy a romantic all-inclusive escape at Couples Tower Isle, Couples Sanssouci, Couples Negril, or Couples Swept Away from $295 USD per night. Take advantage of this offer today by visiting Couples Resorts at couples.com. Conditions apply.
You want to win? Then just bet. Bet on the game, no stress, no sweat. And win big in the Wanna Bet Just Bet promotion. Spend $1,500 or more on one Just Bet ticket and complete the entry form at promotions.supremegames.com for your chance to win. Third place gets Beats by Dre. Second place gets an iPhone 15 and AirPods Pro. And first place gets a 65-inch TV and a soundbar. Promotion runs May 16 to July 20, 2025. Grand draw July 25, 2025. Authorized under Section 58. Of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. We're going to head over to the National Stadium straight away because, as we mentioned in the previous sportscast, the buzz for anticipation at the National Stadium because one Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce will bring her local participation at the National Stadium to a close. Remember her in 2008 battling for a spot, controversially in the end, to Beijing, and she went on to win Olympic gold. So it's 12 plus 5, 17 years she's been running at the National Stadium. Tonight, she'll run her last race either at 7:55 in the semifinals, or if she goes on to the final, that final comes up at 9:45 tonight. We linked with Alex Swaby a little earlier in our 525 sports report, and he was painting the sort of picture that we expected with Ashoka Road residents coming up to the stadium to bid farewell to Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce and, of course, to sort of enjoy the second evening of the national championships. And, of course, he said they had shirts emblazoned with Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce's name and their show of support. And he's now standing by. We linked with you at 5:25. It's now 6:12, Alex Swaby. The atmosphere in the stadium, has it changed? It has gotten better. People are now settling into their seats, getting ready for an evening of sheer brilliance in track and field. What's it like?
Good evening again, Wayne. You are right. The stadium is filling out nicely. There are quite a few more empty seats left to pull out, but from what I'm seeing outside of the stadium, pretty soon by the 100 meters, all the seats will be filled. And yes, the excitement is building for 100 meters, where Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce is set. So, on a farewell races, whether it's the semifinals or the finals, but everyone is anticipating that, and they're anticipating the clash against some of the other big guns. They play between Tina and Tia, as well as Tarika Jackson, Brenna Williams, among others. But since the resumption of the event on the track, Alexia Palmer of Sydney Pagan won on the 18 girls 1500 meters in 4 minutes 48.37 seconds. Second went to Abigail Richards in 5 minutes 0.30 seconds, and Cabarel Williams third in 5 minutes 13.76 seconds. Tywin Sterling of William Neighbor won the under 18 boys 1500 meters in 4 minutes 18.58 seconds. Second went to Sakani Brown of Jamaica College in 4 minutes 29.91 seconds, and Antoine Newland third in 4 minutes, 28.85 seconds. So that's some of the action on the track since the resumption of the event after the opening ceremony. Lynn?
Thank you very much, Alric. Well, enjoy the rest of the evening. We're going to be there tomorrow to bring you live coverage on the evening session. Sports Nation Live will come to you live from the National Stadium tomorrow afternoon with myself and Alric Swaby and Jermaine Compass, a massive part of the team, will be there tomorrow to bring you all the excitement. But Alric, enjoy the rest of the evening at the stadium.
Blessings.
All right, let's continue. Cricket. Australia beat the West Indies by 159 runs at the Kensington Oval in Bridgetown, Barbados earlier today to take a 1-0 lead in their 3-match test series, set 301 for victory. The West Indies were dismissed for 141 near the end of the third day. Shamar Joseph has played a superb cameo. He made 44 of 20 balls, the top score for the Caribbean team, and he shared in a half-century ninth wicket stand with Justin Greaves, who got second top score of 38 not out. Josh Hazelwood ripped through the heart of the West Indies top order with 5 for 41. John Campbell made 23. Casey Carty also making 23, providing the early West Indies resistance. Brandon King made naught. Shade Hope and the captain Ruston Chase made 2 apiece. The Aussies, who resumed the third day on 92 for 4, were bowled out for 310 with steady half centuries from Alex Carey 65, Bill Webster 63, and Travis Head 61. Shamar Joseph bagged 5 for 87 and 9 wickets in the game, while Azari Joseph picked up 2 for 65. The teams will now head to Grenada for the second test starting next Thursday. A member of the West Indies squad, currently playing Australia and Barbados, is facing a slew of rape and sexual assault allegations. The player, who is said to be from Guyana, was held in custody for a period of time before he was released on bond. At last count, 11 women have contacted reporters in Guyana with their story, and one has already made an official report to the police. According to the reports, the alleged incidents took place between 2022 and last year. Cricket West Indies says it has not heard anything about the alleged incident. The attorney representing one of the alleged victims says they are now awaiting answers from the local police as to why the player was offered bail. Jamaica sprinter Alana Reid, just going back to a track story we overlooked here, she has been named as one of 7 official ambassadors for Team Pan Am Sports ahead of the ASU 2025 Junior Pan Am Games scheduled for August 9 to 23 in Paraguay. At just 20 years old, Reid stands amongst the fastest women in the world in the under-20 category and continues to make history as one of the most accomplished young athletes out of Jamaica. She is joined by 6 other standout athletes from across the Americas in a campaign launched by the Pan American Sports Organization under the theme, The Power of the New Generation. Among those selected is British Virgin Islands sprinter Adesia Hodge, who is like Reid, ranked among the top under-20 sprinters in the world. The selected ambassadors will represent Brazil, Jamaica, the British Virgin Islands, the United States, Chile, Colombia, and Paraguay. And they were chosen not only for their excellence in sport, but also for their leadership off the field and their commitment to Olympic values. According to Pan Am Sports, the ambassadors will play a central role in promoting the games and inspiring young athletes across the region through media outreach and public engagement efforts. Arnett Gardens of Women will seek their 12th win of the 2025 Jamaica Women's Premier League when they take on Springer United in the Jamaica Women's Premier League at Irwin High School on Saturday. Arnett are third on the table with 35 points and from 15 starts, while Springer sits at the foot of the table with 4 points. Coach of Arnett, Garnet Lawrence, says despite the difference in the two teams' position on the table, there are no easy games.
Being at Arnett for the last 2 years, there's no easy game playing against Arnett Garden. And remember, we do have Carpellators as well, and even Los Prospectus as well. Those teams are top teams, and they have been there before, and they're gunning. So we don't look at just one team. I know Frasers is unbeaten and everything, and they're doing good, but, you know, anything can happen. But Arnett Gardens, it's tough coaching Arnett Gardens because everybody wants to beat Arnett.
That's Garnet Lawrence. Excitement is high for the tip-off of the Red Stripe Flavors Elite Netball League at the National Indoor Sports Center. The season started the opening ceremony and a dress parade, and it should now be underway at the National Indoor Sports Centre. It should have started at 6 o'clock. This will be followed by last year's beaten finalists St. Catherine Racers taking on St. Anne Orchids before Kingston Hummingbirds take on the under-21 Shiners. A member of the organising committee, Karen Baugh, says some of the country's best players will be on show.
All of the locally based Sunshine Girls will be participating in this league. I think we've built out 4 really strong teams. We expect close matches. Pick your team, or if you have your family member, or if you just like the colour, or if you have a player that you think is great, then go out and pick your team and come out and support.
That's Karen Baugh, who is running for Netball Jamaica president. Baugh says they have kept the entry costs reasonable so the entire family can come out and support.
It's only $300 to get in and $100 for children. On the first night, if you get there before 7, you get in for free. We really want a good crowd out to get the ball rolling with a bang. So the first night, if you get there by 7, you get in for free. And after that, it's $300. And so for the rest of the season, until we get to the playoffs, when the price will go up a little bit, but for the main part of the season, the price will just be $300 for adults and $100 for children, because we know the kids love to go to netball. There's a nice vibe there for them as well. They have space to run up and down and meet and greet with the players. So if it's just $300, you can't just come by yourself. You have to come with your friend and your neighbor and bring your whole family and come.
And Baugh says there's a new element to the tournament this year.
At the end of the first part of the season, we break for a weekend and we will have a Fast Size Festival where we'll have 16 invitational teams vying for cash prizes again. So we've added another element. So some of the same players will play on those teams as well. It will be mixed netball. So we'll have guys on all the teams.
That's Karen Baugh. And that will do it for sport.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
6:20.
As we enter the peak of hurricane season, don't let downtime disrupt your business. Digicel Business offers secure cloud storage and Jamaica's only Tier 3 certified data center, built to withstand storms and safeguard your data. With 24/7 monitoring, local hosting, and 100% uptime, your operations stay protected no matter the weather. Prepare now, protect what matters. Call Digicel Business Solutions at 876-469-2677 or visit digicelbusiness.com. Digicel Business Solutions. Stay online, stay protected.
You've led teams, built businesses, and influenced change. Now, lead research that transforms your field. Apply now for the University of the Commonwealth Caribbean's Doctor of Business Administration or Doctor of Professional Practice. Flexible, research-based, and designed for working professionals. All UCC programs are accredited by the University Council of Jamaica. Learn more and apply online at ucc.edu.jm. UCC, fostering leadership and innovation.
The name you trust to be your friend, to be a partner by your side. For generations we have been the one you trust as your financial guide. Sagicor, building trust for generations, helping hopes and dreams to grow, building our nation. Sagicor's the name you know. Sagicor.
Sagicor, celebrating 55 years.
Building trust for generations.
We can light up your world with the rays of the sun, putting pure energy in the palm of your hand.
For over 20 years, Fosrich has been putting a world of energy in your hands. Now we bring you big savings with our line of solar energy products and LED lighting. Financing now available for all your home and commercial retrofit projects. Consult with our in-house staff or certified professional engineers for all your electrical needs. Fosrich Lifestyle. It's electric. Fosrich, your energy world.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening, and welcome to Public Opinion. I'm Roby Ann Williams. A special good evening to our friends over on our YouTube platform. Thank you for tuning in. We invite you to weigh in live in the comment section on today's public opinion. It's a Friday, so we're stepping back a little, just a tad, from the hard-hitting news and the questions that we've asked you throughout the week. We're taking it down a notch, yeah? Going into the weekend. So, today we're diving into a question that has sparked debates over dinner tables, on social media, and in group chats. How much is too much to spend on a first date? Whether it be the man or the woman. How much is too much to spend on a first date? Is it all about making a big impression? Or should we, keep it simple, sincere? All right, let's go to the comments on our public opinion. How much is too much to spend on a first date? We start on our Facebook platform. Let's hear what Philip Jackson has to say. I know that Philip Jackson, I go say like 100 or 100K. All right, dating should not be about how much money should be spent on that date. It should be about how much quality time was spent and how viable it was. That's the most important aspect. Well, I want to tell you. Okay, Philip, I hear you. Audrey Allen is saying anything that you can't get over if the date turns sour, if it is even the time spent out. Okay, so you're saying anything, so you can recover from the spending that you did on the date, just in case the date turns sour. Got you. Edney Powell saying, I don't look at the cost. I thought of my time, if it was worth it or was a grand waste of time. Makes sense. For Audley Philip, he's also talking about the quality and the status of the date that plays a role in determining the acceptable price tag. Yeah? Carlington Bartley, once you have to redirect monies that was earmarked for specific purposes, that's the definition of too much. So, for instance, you go touch your rent money because you want to impress her. That is too much. That's what you're saying, Carlington Bartley. King William saying, depending on the status of the person paying for the date. Yeah, how much I can afford to pay, one would think. Shawnee Reynolds is saying, suppose it depends on who deserve KFC or who deserve Chinese. Wow. I don't know. On a first date, you wouldn't go KFC or you wouldn't go Chinese. I don't know. No to the KFC on a first date. I'm just saying. And I'm sure the ladies will agree with me. To the question, how much is too much to spend on a first date? Books, go and tell me your price tag. Go and think about it. How much is too much? And let me know. Philip King is saying $50,000. That's too much. My God, these women, when they see you, they see gold mine. I don't know about that, Philip. Maybe it's the type of woman. Maybe who you attract. Not every woman look at a man and say, oh, gold mine. Nah. All right. Letha is saying $100,000. Then where you could have done yam so. On a first date, you're going to spend $100,000? What could you be eating? Not even if you had to take the whole course off of the menu. And I think it would have reached the 100. But then again, it's dependent on where you go. Putting it at where you can reach it, because $100,000 is a whole lot. Not telling a lie. Lucky is saying any amount that make you uncomfortable. Everyone's pocket is different, can I tell you? Aubin is saying if you're going to spend more than you can afford, then it's too much. Yeah. Just like somebody said, anything that you can't recover from. So if the next day you have to wonder, oh, things are going to go because you went out last night with her or with him and you had to spend this amount of money and then tomorrow you don't know if you find nothing that you need, then yeah, that is too much. But I don't know about the 100,000 something. That sound like a way, way, way up. How much is too much to spend on a first date? We turn our attention to our YouTubers. Right away, I see Rich Richard saying $200. Yeah? $200 is too much? Okay, too much is anything above a 2-piece Kentucky meal. Bell ringer, big up yourself. Come on, know which first date did I go carry me a KFC? Go give me 2-piece meal. Patrick Clark is saying 20,000. Is that what you're saying, Patrick Clark? Am I counting those zeros? Come and say 0000, you know? Am I counting those zeros correctly? The lobster. McHugh saying that's lobster money. Yeah? Too much is anything above a 2-piece. Bell ring, I see your comment already. I mean, I know we had to go get 2-piece. Michael Wright saying, if I love the person, nothing can be too much. Ah, dear Michael. Right there, so. Let me see. Derek Isaacs is saying, what happened to the... Okay, no, that's unrelated. Sharon Forbes, let's hear your take on this. But what can a woman eat on that date and drink? I think $15,000. Yeah. Nowadays, it's best to go Dutch on all dates. All right, David Nabar, I hear you. I see you. Christy C. Let's see what Christy C is saying. Too much is if you can't live after. Depends on the pocket. Same some said, Chris. Because if you're go spend $150,000 the night before and then the morning after you can't find a meal, that not make no sense. Me no want you to spend so much money for me and then you have to go worry and fret about where I go come after. No. Too much is when you get into your money for bills. That is it, Dennis Walters. That is it. Superintendent is saying there is no limit once you can afford it. Then that's the limit stop. That's the limit then. Yeah, your affordability. The affordability. Patrick Williams says 20,000. This is good for a first date. Yeah, I think 15. And then that all too much. Cause I don't really eat so much, so you know, I'm not gonna really eat so much things. Yeah. Small people don't really eat a lot at once. Just saying. Terrell Thompson saying my first date with a very nice lady was just sitting in the park with a picnic basket. Nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that, Terrell. Hands down, ain't nothing wrong with that. David Nabar says she's greedy. You know, what kind of big buck? What kind of big buck lady to carry out? Oh my, Dane Barnett is saying, boy, I'm married 16 years now and 20,000 bun up easy when me and my wife go out. Can you imagine, Dane? That's awesome. That's awesome. That's great. Yeah? All right, let me see if I can get in some more. Superintendent said, once your rent money is secure, it's all good and in anti-faithful voice. Ronald is saying, only what you can afford to lose. Cheerful Bird saying, you have some crave woman out there, just as though you have some crave man too. Let me put that out there. Carlene Smith saying, 15,000 too much? LOL. You're having cheese tricks. No, Carlene, is that me not really eat a lot. And every time, I can say this, every time I go out, remember say me I go home with a box. Because I can't eat, I can't. It's like when you see the food, you don't really want so much. So you just have a little and then later you take it home for your Bombay, you see? All right. Sharon Bless said, just a vegetable sandwich will do and a nice smoothie. But only one no say, him no ginal. That is it. And you might drink one little, you know, something. Let me see. Rich Richard says, I will move it up to $300 for you. All right, pick up yourself. Booker T said, a decent bottle of wine is $20,000. J.A. at Half Moon and another $25,000 then. Me no want the old buckle still in, sir, because me can't manage the old buckle. The one glass alone turn me over. All right, let's go. YRD says, just have a good conversation and eat something simple. Yeah, enough to overdo it. It's a first date. You have a second date, a third date, probably a fourth date. So I succumb every time you go out on the date. And then again, I don't think if it is that we had this conversation when we were discussing this this question, right? And someone said he wants to a woman once invited him out, and when the bill come at him pay it. No, ladies, if you invite a man out, you're supposed to pay the bill. Why you invite the man out and man them? If I want to invite without expect, y'all gonna pay the bill, or yeah. I don't know what a splitting thing, but yeah. Books, what you say? How much is too much for a first date? No more than $115,000, right? So I'm right there with you. Cause when me they go eat for so much something, I mean I want the bottle of wine because as me say, me they go turn over. Ursuline Bowen is saying, I spend time knowing if my person was a drop-down dunce. Even if he can't read and write well, he should be intelligent in mind and spirit. And the vibe for good, you have to have me a laugh. Yeah, and I get laugh for peas soup. Yeah, like them something there. Yeah. Shaquila Williams is saying, just keep it real. Yeah, keep it real. I am all for the conversation and eating a little, Carleen Smith says. What, when, or who will pay for the room? The room. I'm run up in that one day. Dane Barrett says, that's why I love South Avenue Grill. Always I'll carry home food. Yeah, man, I ain't gonna eat off everything. If all of the person cannot, too much. Robert Lewis is saying, what I'm interested in is the quality time. Money doesn't matter. Robert Lewis, some people would like to hear that coming from certain people. Let me see if I can get in some more of the comments here. Whoa. Yeah, Booker T said decent bottle of wine is for $20,000. But, you can take it easy. Robbie, Moan no say him not have 5 baby mother. So you're more into the conversation. Donnie B says, modern time now, woman can pay, and I don't have no issue with that, Donnie B. Yeah, I don't have no issue with that at all. That man, I can't. Okay, Cheryl, that's unrelated. Run up another one day. Let me see if I can get any more. McHugh is saying, so a glass of wine, yes, is enough for me. Yes. Yeah. Derek Isaacs is saying, don't be afraid to spend on a woman for the first time. Nitrogen saying, the best relationships are formed unplanned. Yeah? That's what they say. Cynthia Matheson is saying, the money don't matter. The quality of presence. You do not have to go to a restaurant either. Exactly. For the first date, you don't have to take me to a restaurant. No, you don't got to take me to a restaurant. I like the seaside. I like looking out at the sea, and I like clouds. I like staring up at those beautiful clouds. Yeah, you don't got to take me to a restaurant. David Nebar said, gold digger, Uya calls. But yeah, I'm for the 15,000. And honestly to God, it ain't gonna reach that far. Because, like I say, I don't eat a lot. It's not gonna reach that far. I don't eat a lot. Maybe a quesadilla or two or something light. Not a heavy eater. Shin's Law Boss is saying, spend until we're satisfied. Big up yourself. Thank you guys so much for participating in Public Opinion. It's a Friday. If you're going out on the road, be safe if you do so. And if you're staying in, enjoy some quality time with the family. The Business Report is up next.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The time by KIG is
6:36. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Nationwide's Business Report. I'm Robianne Williams. Effective Tuesday, July 1, 2025, all objections to notices of assessments issued by Tax Administration Jamaica TAJ must be filed online. The tax authority says the new measure is aimed at improving efficiency, enhancing service delivery, and streamlining communication through increased use of technology. Taxpayers seeking to object to an assessment will now be required to use their e-services account on TAJ's website to submit their objections. TAJ says the move will allow for faster processing of cases, more effective communication with taxpayers, and quicker response times by its officers. Taxpayers have 30 days from the date an assessment notice is served to lodge an objection. Further afield, U.S. President Donald Trump has said he is cutting off trade talks with Canada immediately as the country looks to start enforcing a tax policy targeting big tech companies. The latest move, which he announced on social media, comes as the neighboring nations had been working to agree a trade deal by mid-July. Both countries have imposed tariffs on each other's goods after Trump sparked a trade war earlier this year and threatened to annex Canada using economic force. On Friday, the U.S. president said he was ending talks due to what he called an egregious tax on tech companies and added he would announce new tariffs on goods crossing the border within the next week. And finally, in the currency markets at the close of trading today, it cost 161 Jamaican dollars and 46 cents to buy $1 US, 220 Jamaican dollars and 24 cents to buy $1 British pound, and 118 Jamaican dollars and 42 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. That's the business report. I'm Roby Ann Williams. Good evening.
Are you looking for a place where your imagination can blossom into something amazing? Where you can be as creative as you dare with facilitators who will prepare you to succeed in a global career? Or maybe you're looking for a place that practices tertiary level education in a practical way? Then you belong at the Vocational Training Development Institute, VTDI. Become the best you can be. You belong here. VTDI, empowering people, transforming lives.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
You want to win? Then just bet. Bet on the game, no stress, no sweat. And win big in the Wanna Bet Just Bet promotion. Spend $1,500 or more on one Just Bet ticket and complete the entry form at promotions.supremegames.com for your chance to win. Third place gets Beats by Dre. Second place gets an iPhone 15 and AirPods Pro. And first place gets a 65-inch TV and a soundbar. Promotion runs May 16 to July 20, 2025. Grand draw July 25, 2025. Authorized under Section 58. Of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Nago Head St. Catherine, Greenleaf Medical and Diagnostics has opened its door at 55 Newland Road to assist you with all your medical needs. Visit and get the services of a general practitioner, pediatrician, gynecologist, and surgeon. They also do all tests: ultrasound, pap smear, ECG, and diagnostic testing. Open Mondays to Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Telephone 876-740-1224. Greenleaf Medical and Diagnostics, your medical partner in Nago Head.
Jamaica, it's live and direct back again. Saturday, June 28th, live in concert. Brian McKnight.
Hey everyone, it's Brian McKnight.
And Drew Hill.
It's your boy Cisco and Drew Hill.
Taking place at the Constant Spring Golf Club. Get your tickets now. Sponsored by Supreme Ventures Limited, Courtly Hospital Group, Mothers, Island Grill, CPJ, J. Ray and Nephew Limited, Hertz, Budget Car Rental, Mayberry Investments, and main event. It's live and direct. Gates open at 7 p.m. Showtime 8 p.m. at the Constant Spring Golf Club.
June 28th, Kingston. I'll see you there.
At Kia, driving your future means joining the movement that inspires. Whether it's the small but mighty Picanto hatchback or the top-of-the-line tech-rich Sorento SUV, there's a Kia that perfectly fits your lifestyle and your budget. ATL Automotive has gotten Jamaicans behind the wheels of thousands of Kias for the past 7 years. And we're ready to get you behind the wheel of a Kia too. Simply visit the nearest Kia showroom for a test drive now.
Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, is a financial reporting firm that delivers accounting and compliance services on time. Call us today at 876-908-0486-7. Email us at clientservices@cocnjamaica.com or visit our website at www.cocnjamaica.com.
COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nationwide at 5. It's time for the nation's business. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
Top of the afternoon to you, Sir Ricardo, and to our listeners and viewers. I'm Tyrone Reed. We're turning our attention now to the rural school bus rollout. The first batch of those buses under the government's new rural school bus system, they've officially arrived in the country. On Sunday, 25 of them were offloaded at Kingston Wharves. The Transport Minister Daryl Vaz says this marks the start of the phased rollout of the initiative aimed at improving student transportation in rural communities. A very, 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 very big issue, that has been neglected for a number of years, Minister Vaz confirmed the arrival in a social media post accompanied by a video of the buses. The minister wrote, "Get used to hearing schoolers only." Minister Vaz has reiterated that the rural school bus system is designed to tackle student absenteeism while offering a safe, reliable, and affordable transport option for these students. He noted that students will pay a flat fare of just $50 regardless of the distance being traveled. The buses will undergo testing and deployment before being placed on the road. Minister Vaz says under phase 1 of the program, 110 buses will be imported at a cost of $1.4 billion. Of these, 100 buses will operate across rural routes, while 10 will be kept as reserve units for maintenance or emergency coverage. Minister Vaz says the government is committed to expanding the program even further, with plans to acquire an additional 200 to 300 buses over the next 2 years. The minister joins us now. Good evening, Minister. Good evening, Minister. Welcome to Nationwide at 5.
Welcome. Good afternoon to everybody.
All right, let me ask you first, Minister. I know there was some concern about the retrofitting and where the doors would be and that kind of a thing. Have we sorted all that out yet?
So we sorted that out on the first bus that came to Portland based on the initiative of MP Anne-Marie Vaz and myself. Mm-hmm. And basically what we did was to move the door from the right-hand side to the left-hand side, allowing for the students to load from the sidewalks, because obviously the loading from the right-hand side in the middle of the road would be disastrous. So that there's a template for that, and we'll duplicate that on all of the buses. But very interestingly, what I've realized is that in some states, in the United States, they have 2 doors, one for entrance and one for emergency, and some they have 3, one on either side, left and right, and the back door. So we have benefited from some buses that have 3 doors. So we will lock off the door on the right-hand side, use the one on the left-hand side, which means it won't need retrofitting, and then use the back emergency door, which is the standard emergency door. So I'm not quite sure how many of those we have, but I know that we have a few of them, which we will obviously allow for us to be able to short the timeline in terms of the retrofitting and the refurbishing. But I must say that on inspection of the first 25 buses that came, which came directly from the supplier. So no prepping or cleaning or anything. I was quite impressed with the condition of the exterior and the interior and the engine, and that really tells me. Your line is going bad, Minister. Go again. You hear me better now?
Yes, much better. Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm saying that what impressed me about that is the fact that the buses came without any prep. They were shipped straight from the supplier to the wall. And the condition of the buses, I'm very impressed with them this time.
No, the line is...
I think we might need to reconnect with the minister.
Just hold the line, Minister. We're going to try to reconnect, yeah? We're talking to the Transport Minister, Daryl Vaz, about the rural school bus system. And as you said, Tyrone, long overdue. Absolutely. Okay.
Okay, we're still trying to make contact with the minister. You want us to take a break and come back?
All right.
No.
No, don't take a break.
No.
No break. No break.
No break. Go ahead, Tyro. No break.
What you're saying? Producer clapping hard this evening, man. Dana, I trust your well.
It's Boog's work. It's Boog's work.
Oh, it's Boogs. I saw him going all the while.
He's taking pity on us, so he says we can go to the break.
There's something I actually want to say, so we don't have to go to the break. One of the major questions I think, and it's something I wanted to put to the minister after he had completed his start, was so under phase one of the program, Ricardo, 110 buses will be imported. Now, in the mind of a neophyte like me, I don't know anything about re-engineering and reconfiguring buses, right? It seems to me a significant undertaking. Yeah. How much are we spending to have the doors put on the
other side,
correct side of the bus? Right. So that's really what I wanted to ask him, because under phase one of the program, we just read that 110 buses will be imported at a cost of 1.4 billion. How much more do we have to spend? And is there an option going forward where we don't have to expend that retrofitting money on the buses? Can we get the buses that are configured for our market?
Yeah.
Perhaps from somewhere where they actually drive on the left side of the road.
The minister is back with us. Minister Vaz?
Hearing you back.
Minister Vaz?
Yes.
Are you hearing me?
So Tyrone has a question, Minister.
Yeah, man.
Right, Minister. I was wondering. Yes, 110 buses. Yes, under phase one of the program. I was wondering how many of these buses have this problem that we need to retrofit, reconfigure where the doors are, and how much are we spending to do this kind of retrofitting? But that is part one. And part two is there a plan going forward to perhaps import these buses from the source markets that actually drive on the left side of the road to avoid this kind of issue?
Sure. So the bottom line is that we have used the North American buses because obviously they are tried and proven. They're not ideal, but the fact of the matter is that there is a strict maintenance program overseen by the Department of Transport for these buses. And as I said before, these buses have been used in the United States of America from 1937. Same exact bus. Engines, bodies, transmissions, everything. Not ideal, but obviously based on the cost and the value for money. It is a start.
Sturdy buses, yes.
I would not say that we are stuck to them. We have more time now to be able to do more investigations, etc. But bear in mind that these buses, the further they come from, is obviously the more expensive they're going to be freight-wise, etc. Inland freight and freight. So we're going to do some cost analysis, but I can say without fear of contradiction that these buses, $1.4 billion for 110 buses, all in, including the retrofitting, including the technology, which is the cashless system, the geofencing, the cash, the apps for monitoring them, and all that it comes with, including parts and including a maintenance program which we're taking and copying from the United States. When you compare that to what is being proposed and as an alternative to give 20,000 students $2,500 a week as a grant for transportation for a school year of 7 months, is the same $1.4 billion that they are proposing to spend on 20,000 kids.
Trying to get an idea of the cost.
Hold on,
is significant.
Of 328,000 students out of a population of 650,000 students, serving 258 schools out of 650 schools. So value for money is absolutely there, on top of which the engines are guaranteed. They are coming in diesel engines, which are world-renowned, between 300,000 and 500,000 miles. The buses are doing 14,000 miles a year based on the fact that they're working morning and evening. So I have 10 to 15 years of these buses before end of life of the engine. You know what I mean? Everything, all the boxes are ticked. Cannot beat it. Cannot beat it.
Right, Minister, I hear that, and that's not what I was asking. What I'm asking is, how much will it cost us to do the retrofitting for the doors? Is it significant? That's what I'm trying to drive at.
No, it's not significant. It's not significant. The bigger cost is obviously the cost of the bus, the inland freight, because it's coming from all over the United States, and most of them are coming down to Miami. And then, of course, the freight, and more importantly, the parts and the maintenance. The refurbishing is minimal in terms of making sure that you refurbish the seats if they need to be done, the engine oil filters, etc., and the retrofitting of the door is minuscule in comparison to the overall cost of each bus. But I take the point that if we can find buses that are ideally suited for our market, in terms of the side left-hand drive, right-hand drive rather than left-hand drive. I mean, all options are open. But what I can say is that the bus that is in Portland has been working for 2 months without 1 day's interruption. It does 4 to 5 round trips per day, and it has carried 14,128 students in 8 weeks, and that's one single 54-seater bus. So you multiply that by 100 buses and understand the impact that this is going to have across rural Jamaica in terms of getting the children to school in a time.
Absolutely, it's a massive program, Minister, and we wish it all the success. It is a massive. Ricardo, I thought I heard you with a question there.
Yeah, because I wanted to know, Minister. So parents listening now. So it's a rural school bus system. Come September 5, September 3, whenever school reopens, what can they expect? What parishes? Where are these buses going to start operating?
There are meetings taking place now, stakeholder meetings. The Minister of Education is responsible to coordinate with the schools, give them all the information in terms of the routes, the schools that are going to be served, and of course, how does the students get their cards, the card will be an ID card, which will also serve as a cashless card, which can be topped up, just similar to how you top up your credit. And all of that information will flow through the schools, through the regions, to the parents, to the students. And those consultations have started. The consultations will be wider with stakeholders within the parish, the members of parliament, the councillors, the churches, and all of the civic groups. And the fact of the matter is that it will be heavily publicized before school in terms of the final routes. We're sending the buses out within the next 2 weeks to go and actually do a dry run on all of the routes and tweak the routes according to the stakeholder consultations that are taking place to make sure that we cover the areas.
Right.
There are 3-size buses. They are 74-seater, 52-seater, and 32-seater. So obviously the 72-seater bus is not going to go up into the Buff Bay Valley. It will run on the coast between Port Antonio, Buff Bay to Port Antonio to Happy Grove. So the smaller buses will go in, bring down the kids from the interiors, and of course drop off the kids to the schools in the interiors. But the Ministry of Education has a full understanding of the school network, and JUTC will do the operations in terms of operating the buses.
On that point of operation, obviously safety is one of the things you're trying to ensure with this system. Are you using existing JUTC drivers, or are you recruiting new drivers?
We are recruiting, and we are trying to recruit from the parishes to make it easier for the buses to be accessed.
And any Tyrone and any Ricardo can just sign up?
No,
what's the vetting like? What's the vetting like?
Checks,
Yes.
Right.
You have to go through a police background check, and you have to be trained and certified by the JUTC and Heart Trust. So yes, the fact of the matter is that we will see ads on social media and in the media in terms of parishes and where the locations are. And the fact of the matter is that we're going to position the buses within the parishes at particular schools where they will leave out in the mornings and go out and, of course, come back and be housed at the schools overnight so that easy access in the morning. So I have a meeting on Monday, which is a full meeting with the entire Ministry of Education, JUTC, MSET, police, everybody, to go through and then set up to finalize the routes. And of course, we will advertise and let the public know when these buses are going to be, and of course, where the consultations are going to be, stakeholder consultations to get the input from everybody. And I'm sure that even after September, we'll have to make some tweaks, but we are prepared to do that because we want to make sure we get the best efficiency for the buses. And as I said before, it is a game changer for me as minister and this administration. I say without hesitation that this is one of the most transformative policies that has been implemented, not only because of the amount of children that it's going to afford to be able to go to school, but the mindset that they will get to school in will allow them to learn a lot better and a lot more than based on the conditions that they get to school in now, which means that they are at zero in terms of attention span, based on the stress and the frustrations. And it all goes well for the future of Jamaica generations to come. Because what's up there now, is just not on.
If we could go back, just to dial back a bit to that question from Ricardo, quite significant, because when I heard the ads running for the drivers of these school buses, because it's going to just be drivers and no conductors will be necessary, right? Just drivers, just a driver to a bus?
So let me just make it clear that the school bus is an extension of the school. So whatever policies are in place at the school, disciplinary, etc., will carry through to the buses. But also, we have to have school purse wardens that will be assigned from the ministry to make sure that order is in loading and unloading, and obviously going on the bus from time to time to make sure that the kids are conforming to school policies. So we can't just have a driver on a bus and 60 or 80 kids. There has to be some kind of oversight, and that's what we're working on as well.
And which is important to note because it's just going to be the driver, not a driver conductor setup because of the electronic nature of things, right? Right. Basically how the JUTC operates now. But what I wanted to ask was about the antecedent checks, because I heard the ads and I was thinking to myself, sometimes the long arm of the law doesn't catch up to some of these predators. Are there any plans for an additional layer of checks? Because we're talking about students in terms of perhaps a community visit to see what these people that we're putting to drive buses that will be full of children on a daily basis. What their reputation is like on the ground in the community.
Follow me closely now. The buses will be equipped with technology. There will be one camera specifically for the driver to see what he's doing, how he's doing it. It will be open to know if he comes off of the route at any time. And most importantly, the fact of the matter, the way he's driving and interacting. So if he gets up out of the bus, out of his seat, it is all there to be taped. All there for the schools and for the provider of the technology. So we can play back if there's a particular incident. We can go back, we can see it, and most importantly, once the child comes onto the bus and swipes his card to pay, the schools have access to that, and the JUTC has access to that. So the parents will have access to that to know when a child comes on the bus and when a child comes off of the bus. So the technological instruments that are going to be on that bus, including speed. We will know if the driver is speeding. We will know everything that is needed to be known on that bus based on the fact that it is carrying our children.
And those cameras will be monitored in real time, Minister?
Real time. And the schools will have access, the JUTC will have access, and the parents will have limited access in terms of specific to what they need to know about the bus and where the bus is and the time, etc., etc. So it's real school bus, first world. I was in Canada yesterday day before yesterday at my daughter's graduation, and it was such a pleasure to see the school buses, which I see all the time when I travel, but specifically to know that back in Jamaica, there are buses that are being prepared for September, similar to what obtains in North America. It was a great feeling. Great feeling. And guess what? It's going to be done, and it's going to be done properly. Because this minister and this government, I only know to do things one way. And if there's anything that needs to be added because of our oversight, we will add it. Bottom line is, gentlemen, ladies, a mother or a parent that can only afford to send one child to school now out of 4 because it's $300 to $600 a day for a child can now send her 4 children to school every day without having to pick a child at the expense of the other 3 or the other 4 or the other 5 and put all their investment into one child with the hope that that child will be the winner. Every child will have the opportunity to get the education that they deserve in the style and the form that should be done by all well-thinking countries and good governments.
And we can't ignore, and we also can't ignore the fact that this rollout is coming at a time when a major event is looming. Yeah.
So follow me closely.
Yes.
I made the commitment when I became minister in May 2023, and every one of the possibilities for a rural school bus service was going to cost anywhere between $8 and $20 billion of subsidy a year using the existing public transportation system. Yes? This came out of what I did in Portland, and that was the trigger that made me realize that if I can do it in Portland, why can we not do it in the 14 parishes? So this is not something that we just woke up and decided on. This was a commitment that I made in May 2023, and the fact that I'm able to deliver it it's not about the election that is due in September. You know.
Daryl Vaz isn't politicking.
It's about the school term that begins in September. That is the more important thing. Now, so understand that. Now, will it have a benefit? We leave that to the people of Jamaica and the parents and students in rural Jamaica as it relates to whether or not this government has finally come up with something that can treat a very serious problem that we have been facing for decades. It's as simple as that.
All right.
Anybody who bad mind that, yes, God don't love them.
God loves all his children, Minister.
Okay, well.
Daryl Vaz is the Minister of Science, Energy, Telecommunications,
look forward
and
to seeing you
Transport.
on the road with me in 2 weeks' time when we hit the road and go through Jamaica.
All right, Minister.
Every nook and cranny.
Daryl Vaz, Transport Minister. Thank you for the time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Minister. One of the few times Ricardo's theology is on point.
We're not gonna take the drought. We're not gonna take the drought this Friday, Terry. We're gonna take a break and come back with your calls. The number is 630-9371 to 618-8255. Soon come.
the name you trust to be your friend, to be a partner by your side. For generations we have been the one you trust as your financial guide. Sagicor, building trust for generations, helping hopes and dreams to grow, building our nation. Sagicor's the name you know. Sagicor.
Sagicor, celebrating 55 years.
Building trust for generations.
Residents of Portmore, you spoke and we listened. JPS is returning to the Sunshine City. Starting July 2025, you'll be able to visit the My JPS Care Hub inside Fontana Portmore. Get answers to queries related to billing, payment, prepaid electricity, service requests, and more. Our agents will be on the ground to ensure you are in and out in no time. Look out for the My JPS Care Hub in Fontana Portmore, coming this July. JPS, powering what matters.
The gateway for Jamaica's athletes to several international competitions, including the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo, Japan, opens from Thursday, June 26 to Sunday, June 29 for the J3A National Junior and Senior Championships, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. each day. The biggest names in local track and field, with the men's section including the likes of Olympic silver medalist Shane Thompson, Oblique Seville, Akeem Blake, Antonio Watson, Christopher Taylor, Rashid Broadbell, Olympic champion Roger Stoner, Rajendra Campbell, Wayne Pinna, and Romaine Beckford. The female division will be no less fascinating, with two-time reigning world champion Sharika Jackson, Shelly Ann Fraser-Price, the Clayton Twins, Tia and Tina, Alana Reed, Akira Nugent, Rochelle Clayton, and Shanika Ricketts. The action will be sizzling.
Is your money idling when it could be thriving? With CIBC Caribbean's fixed deposit offering, you can take charge of your cash. With 50,000 Jamaican to start, choose terms from 30 days to 2 years. Lock in your funds and enjoy premium rates guaranteed to grow your wealth. Whether you're eyeing short or long-term gains, our fixed deposit account puts you firmly in control of your money. Now is the time to open a CIBC fixed deposit account and start earning more today. CIBC, ambitions made real.
Residents of Portmore, you spoke and we listened. JPS is returning to the Sunshine City. Starting July 2025, you'll be able to visit the My JPS Care Hub inside Fontana Portmore. Get answers to queries related to billing, payment, prepaid electricity, service requests, and more. Our agents will be on the ground to ensure you are in and out in no time. Look out for the My JPS Care Hub in Fontana Portmore, coming this July. JPS, powering what matters.
We're taking your calls here on Nationwide at 5. The numbers are 630-9371-4, 618-8255. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
Tyrone Reed.
Faithful, you're up first.
Good evening, Faithful.
Yep. Good evening, Tyrone. Good evening, Mr. Brooks. Yep. The Integrity Commission and the gag order. I get the impression that Tyrone is reducing the electability of one vis-a-vis one integrity. Meaning, I think Tyrone said that if they move the gag order, that would not prevent an individual from being elected. But what about outside of politics? Is that person's life on the surround, whether he's able to be elected or unelected, is not his integrity more important after he leaves politics?
Tyrone?
I was listening for more, but Faithful, I think you've completely misconstrued my sentiments, though. Why? And you are ignoring a very significant issue, which is that a politician's electability has lots to do with his or her reputation. If your reputation is damaged to the point where the public rejects you, you have a significant argument to make. That's the lifeblood of a politician, because they run for office in order to be elected. So the argument is, are we so damaging our politicians unnecessarily, that is, to the point where they aren't able to be elected? And I'm suggesting to you and to Ricardo, yes, to look at the history of things. And our politicians And I don't even want to start naming names. There are several of them who've gone through rounds and rounds of scandals. They've lurched from scandal from crisis to scandal. Let me finish the point. From crisis to scandal. And they are still being elected today.
But Tyrone,
their reputations have not been damaged.
But Tyrone, I think the point Faithful is making, Tyrone, and I'm inclined to agree, is that you have limited. I do agree. You've limited people's reputation to the province of politics and whether they are elected or not. And let me remind you, Tyrone, that in a lot of instances, some of these people run in pretty safe seats. So they're going to be elected one way or the other. So I don't think that's a marker, a proper marker, as to whether their integrity or reputation has been damaged.
I can show you guys are wrong, but I'll let you go on. No, Faithful, you're saying.
So you can't just say you should move the gag order based on the person, whether he's able to elect it, yes or no. A person have a life after he left politics, and once that individual, the gag order is removed, and you name that individual, and it prove that individual was not guilty, that's going to stay with that person for the rest of his time. Knowing the society that we are living in Jamaica.
All right, let me ask you, and Rickard, let me show you that you're making a bogus argument, both of you. On what then do you stake this damaged reputation argument, if it's not on the electorate? On what do you peg this argument?
But I'm saying to you, Tyrone.
That's an easy question. I can peg it on how it affects people's families, how it affects their family life, how it affects their standing, social standing, how people perceive them, Tyrone. I continue to say to you that
good. Hold on,
I'm not finished. I'm not finished, but I am not finished, Tyrone. No, but I wasn't finished. I'm still answering. So the benchmark cannot be whether or not they are elected to parliament. It just can't be that, Tyrone.
All right. So you say life basically outside of the glare of the political cameras, right? Yes. What kind of study have you all conducted to ascertain, not anecdotally now, but academically, how much damage to the reputation of politicians?
So this bait and switch that you're trying, Tyrone, is unworthy of you. It is unworthy of you, Tyrone. It's unworthy because what you are trying to do. No. What you are trying to do.
No academic basis to support. You are setting up a straw man about people's reputation and that is irreparably harmed.
And hold on, I submit to you, Tyrone, that basic logic alone supports the argument myself and Faithful are making. And the fact that you are now going to say to us, unless we have data to prove what is just basic reasoning, basic deduction tells you, Tyrone, that there is a real possibility that what we're saying is harmful. And you're going to say because an academic has not studied the matter, then the argument can't stand?
No, you are
unworthy of you. Unworthy of you, Tyrone. Do better than that. Better than that, Tyrone. Faithful, thank you for the call. Thank you for the call, Faithful. 630-9371-246188-255. Alric, tell Tyrone he's wrong.
No, I'm not. Good evening, guys. I'm not going to tell Tyrone he's wrong. I'm going to ask Tyrone a question.
All right.
Tyrone, for the ordinary man on the street, when he gets painted for a crime he did not commit and then he was exonerated, doesn't the country or the people in this community a lot of times write him off even before they had a chance to sit down and chat with him?
He's going to ask you which academic studied the matter.
No, I don't think so. I'm from the... Well, Ricardo is answering for both me and him. Clearly, he's talented.
Go ahead.
Now, would you allow me, sir?
Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, can I get some protection here?
Books not paid, no, man. Go ahead.
Just muting my books. No, I'm saying, yes, when people get charged for a crime and they bust the case, generally, as they say in the street, the overwhelming feeling for people is that they've bust the case because people understand this is how the system works. You get charged, and if they don't have the evidence, you get released. Sometimes we saw consult the intelligence of our people, you know.
No,
So by
Tyrone.
drawing these conclusions that we can't support with any evidence.
You don't need evidence to support how the man family feel and kids feel when them go to school, Tyrone. They go to
Demonstrably justified in a democratic society.
I think Tyrone suffers from, and I understand it, I understand it, because our politicians have not over the years acquitted themselves in the best way to make it easy to defend them. But I think Tyrone is suffering from is assuming, that because they have not always behaved themselves, then they should not be extended the benefit of a basic protection that every other Jamaican would want.
All right,
and I hate to refer to myself in the third person, but Tyrone is here and he can speak for himself.
And I want to discuss 2 quick points.
Yes, sir. All right, go ahead.
The first one, Mr. Panton seems that he wanted to ride off into the sunset without anybody saying anything about him. But I still think he has said what he has to say in Parliament today. He has said what he wanted to say going out. But I still think he has left the commission in a bad way in terms of the amount of problems with the disputes and what have you. And I still had a lot of respect for him. I've lost a lot since that parliamentary thing, and I've lost some more this afternoon with his parting shots. And I still think we feel that he answers to nobody in this country.
Well, it's more like him decide that he's going to give him 2 big licking in them back, Ricardo, before
one last lick.
Yes.
That's the last lick.
Last lick.
Yeah, which seems consistent.
The second point, guys, and I brought it up to you the other day. The JTA, and especially with that statement that was made today, yesterday by the principal of the Yalasai School. I can hardly call his name as I gave Tyrone some trouble today, so I'm not going to try. But what he said was another disgraceful and disrespectful comment coming from somebody who in September is going to take over the leadership of the JTA from Mr. Smith.
That's the comment about the paper not being...
Yes, man. I want you guys to... Tyrone gave his views on it today. What about you, Ricardo?
Look, hyperbole for sure. Over the top for sure. But I don't know if his posturing is much outside of the vein of what we've seen from previous JTA presidents. This is how they've been behaving.
But if you guys will want to agree with me or not, the JTA has over the years kind of proven that it leans to the People's National Party, you know.
That's a historical fact.
Huh?
That's a historical fact. A lot of
right,
teachers...
so they always present the Jamaica Labour Party
a lot
about
of teachers
salaries.
were...
And as they come in, and what I would like this principal to do, the person is going to take over from him. Surprisingly, one again after she made that big error the last time, and I see where the teachers have voted her back in. So is she going to have a conflict of interest now? Is she suing herself if the case is not called up before she takes over again?
That's a question for the JTA to answer. The outgoing president studiously refused to be drawn on it. And I know our newsroom has called Mrs. Harrison, and she has declined to comment on it. So it's...
I heard the outgoing president dodging and dodging in on a Tyrone.
Yes.
And
no matter how much I asked him, he would not answer.
He would not answer. and these guys are showing their colors at their political leaning, because if I'm not mistaken, this principal now...
Now, to be clear, I don't know what Mrs. Harrison's political leanings are. Mr. Malava has, put himself forward to be a candidate for the People's National Party. I do not know.
He's the one I'm talking about.
Okay,
the president that is going to take over from Mr. Malava. He has put up himself already as a candidate.
But you do appreciate, though, Alric, that doesn't disqualify him from being head of the JTA.
No, I wouldn't say that. But they must be fair in their comments, man. Check how many times they have gotten raised under the People's National Party, and check the amount of raise, the times they have gotten. Well, not, as Tyrone always said, they should be paid more. But who has moved their salary and moved their increments? They should be fair.
All right, Alric, hear you.
Let me just offer this, because I spoke on it earlier today. If is it Malava or Malava?
Malava is my understanding.
Malava. If Mr. Malava was the president of a teachers' union in any country worth its salt, and he offered those remarks, he would have had to tender his resignation. Absolutely despicable comments coming from someone who heads a body of such critical importance as the JTA. I really don't place any stock on the JTA anymore. I must tell you that.
Yeah. Omalo?
Yeah, good evening, Ricardo. Good evening, Tyrone.
Greetings, Omalo. Greetings, my brother.
Yeah, based on listening to the chairman of the Integrity Commission?
No, former chairman.
Former chairman. The former chairman reported. I would like to ask a question. Do you think Parliament should put in law as a guidance as to what these people must report on?
I suppose in a general way, the Parliament could ask for what it wants to hear, but I don't know. I think what you're getting at is whether it should constrain what he can say in the report. I wouldn't agree with that.
No. Yes, you're right. Because
no, I wouldn't agree with that.
It's open to criticize anything and anything that we feel affects the Integrity Commission, even if it's not unlawful, because Jamaicans have a right to express themselves. And if a Jamaican expresses his or herself without breaking the law, why does this reach in the Integrity report?
Well, I mean, I appreciate, as Tyrone and I said earlier, there is a commission of parliament, so if the parliament is seen or perceived to be trying to weaken it, then you'd expect the chairman to have something to say about that. I don't think that's unreasonable.
What about a private body, a young arm of the JLP? Are they a part of parliament? Are they free to express themselves just like any other NGO in Jamaica? Or any other citizen?
But I don't think he was attacking their right to express themselves. What he was attacking was the content of that expression.
But is that content illegal?
No, and he never made that claim. He did say in some instances he thought it was libelous.
No, that's not something that I don't think that is needed into an integrity report. I don't think that has no validity inside an integrity report. I don't think so.
How do you think it takes away from it? I don't know that it takes away from it.
What it takes, what it do, it has almost putting a political party under a microscope of saying that this political party is against a certain institution that holds up integrity. And because we are trying to hold up integrity and they are not, they have some problem with it, they are going after
that I think gets to what the point Tyrone made earlier, which is the temperament that you'd expect from a judge, a retired judge. I don't think Justice Panton has always shown that temperament, and that's a different matter, I think. But I don't, because he could have raised his concerns without them coming across in the kind of, and I hesitate to say this, but partisan way in which they did.
You see, this is a problem, you know.
I think you're, once again, Omali, and I'm going to support Omali a little here, but I think you're also perhaps paying too much due regard to the temperament of judges.
Well, perhaps it's what I would expect. It's what I would expect.
There are a lot of people who say if you go into these courtrooms and observe how the judges treat with those who appear before them, attorneys and their clients, you would it would seem in step, right? If you would compare the two, that because some of them do treat with people from disdain from high up on the bench, so that's one thing. So maybe that is what is trickling down after years of having done that. It's trickling down here. I'm not certain what kind of judge he was on the bench. I've never stood before him or heard any stories of him. That's one, and two, but to Omalu's point, I think, for example, he made mention of a post that was made by someone putting their pictures out there. And I think the suggestion is that he's saying maybe there was some attempt here to kind of incite harm to the members of the commission. Do you recall that section of the report, Ricardo?
Yes.
No, does he have... Right. Are you familiar with the post he's referencing?
I have my guesses, but only a guess because he did not name her.
And is it reasonable for him to have concluded that this person was trying to incite harm?
No, I wouldn't. That wasn't my interpretation of what I said.
Which goes to the point that Omalu is making. If this is the Integrity Commission, they have a particular mandate, and here it is, you have an official who feels so aggrieved that he includes in the report these issues that he doesn't really have the evidence to support either way. And Omalu is saying this is not the report is not the place for it. That is the point I think Omalu is making. However, where I might allow a little leeway for it being included in the report is that the chairman in his closing arguments basically is saying this is the state of the atmosphere around this whole anti-corruption fight, and so he's painting a picture. So I might allow it, think it's acceptable if you look at it from that point of view, but I also see where Omalu is coming from, questioning whether or not the report, the annual report, is the place for that kind of a thing that you don't have the evidence to support either way. I can see where Omalu is going with that, but also I can see allowance to allow it.
Yeah. Exactly where I'm going, Tyrone. But where I think that report, that other part of what he's saying should come out into an interview with a journalist, not in the report. To an interview with a journalist, giving them all those other things that he may think that is happening, but really don't have the evidence to prove. You see, this leads me to one thing, because I am going to ask also the Parliament, and I'm putting this forward to the Parliament. Maybe we should have a set date of election, because one of the things that we don't want is these reports to be coming out and affecting how the election the result may come out based on what is coming out in these reports. And these reports come out in a time when we know the election is just right around the corner.
Interestingly, Omalo. No, interestingly, the FBI in the United States has a policy, and the Justice Department, that I think they have a cutoff point by which you can announce an investigation.
Tyrone, when did they institute that? When did they institute that? Do you recall what happened with Hillary Clinton?
And that's what I was about to say. That's what I was about to say. James Comey was actually brought before Congress because of that, because the conclusion was that he did violate the policy by coming out and making an additional statement so close to the election. So they do have such a policy, but as to whether
and that is the reason why, Ricardo,
as to whether it should be adopted, I'm not sure.
I'm getting my guidance from.
Yeah,
that is where I'm going. And the next thing, Ricardo, before I go, I am troubled. I am very troubled, because I remember when Mr. Panton came to the Parliament. It was an invitation, and he accepted the invitation. It wasn't no law in place as they're supposed to come there and report to the people that we elect. I am troubled by our leaders giving bodies inside Jamaica that are not answerable to the people through our leaders. Yeah? Our leaders can tell them to come to the Parliament in law, written in law, and they must come here and report.
Absolutely agree with that. Absolutely agree with that point, Omalu. We can't create sacred cows.
Yeah, we
absolutely should be able to be summoned to the nation's parliament to face the people through their representatives. Absolutely support you on that point.
We cannot create a democracy and then we create body independent of the democracy. Then who answers to the people when the people vote in the politician? Then that body is just over there sitting and it can't. And we have to be
because if you listen to the former chairman closely, it sounds as if he's doing them a favor by appearing before them, right?
Yes.
That was the mood. But Ricardo, I'm not certain I'm buying this argument. First of all, about when the Integrity Commission releases this report, and they should be mindful of the staging of general elections. First of all, we need to fix the general elections date. That's the first thing that the current Prime Minister promised that, and he has not delivered on it. About 2 election cycles ago, I believe, and I stand corrected on the timing of it. I think it's in Europe to the 2016.
Yes, you're right.
Right?
Yes,
so,
2016.
So he has not delivered on that. And I gather they're saying there are hurdles that they're trying to overcome. But in a democracy, one person should not hold the entire country at ransom. It should not happen. It is anti-democratic. Right? Absolutely anti-democratic, if you think about it in those terms. So there's one. The Integrity Commission can't call anybody's name. So unless these investigations are absolutely complete. So this issue of the Integrity Commission being mindful of when it releases its report based on a general election, that it doesn't know when it's going to be called. I don't know where that argument is coming from, but I don't know that it's something that should detain us.
All right, Omalo, thanks for the call.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right, Omalo.
Marky.
Yes, good evening, Tyrone and Ricardo.
Good evening.
Hey, greetings, Marky.
Yeah, man. Just weighing in quickly on the former IC chairman. If we take into consideration the fact that this gentleman was a former judge, then we would expect him to choose his words very carefully when he makes a pronouncement, especially coming from such a sensitive position. Fair enough? Am I being...
Yes. It should be judicious, I agree.
That's fair.
Yes, justices should be judicious.
Exactly, and therefore to me, his language was deliberate. That is my takeaway from it. And I don't think we should skirt around it. You know, let's just say, in my humble opinion, his slip was showing big time. And you know, you go back to the scribes and the Pharisees. Humans are humans, and no matter how proper we are or how credible, you know, we are humans. So humans are humans. Let me just leave it there, you know.
We all have our preferences, is what you're saying.
There we go. But one, especially in certain capacity, should be more discreet. I don't think he was being discreet at all. So it was unworthy of him coming from such a position to utter such sentiments. I really don't think it was proper. Not at all. And then on the second point, Tyrone, I have to agree with Ricardo on the matter of, you know, calling names. Because
you shouldn't encourage him in it.
No, you see the thing.
Marky understands sound reasoning. Marky is an intelligent listener.
we know how Jamaicans are. Now, first of all, isn't it the case that I or anybody else can just call the Integrity Commission and make a complaint or not on somebody? Anybody can do that.
Yes.
So I can be mischievous. I can deliberately have an agenda and do that, right?
Which was raised, yes, that was a point raised when the commissioners appeared before the parliament as to how that's treated.
No, we see all the lies and rumors and propaganda going around. I'm not saying on any one particular side, but we are here, so we live here, we know what is going on.
You right, Dad?
Yeah, man. Hey, we know what is going on. Sorry about that. So,
no, man, that's fine, man. No need to apologize.
So
no, man. We're all no.
My concern in the circumstance is that, hey, a mischief maker and people have their agenda, as I say, can just call and then you hear there's an investigation. Imagine, Tyrone, if you were a member of parliament or a senator.
I can imagine that, but go ahead.
And call the Integrity Commission and lodge a complaint against you or something for them to investigate.
I would be the first person to lodge a complaint against him, Marky.
All right, and then you hear that Tyrone Reed is being investigated. If they were to call names Tyrone, you'd hear that Tyrone Reed is being investigated by the Integrity Commission. And then you will hear the opposition who is against you on political platforms saying that Tyrone Reed, remember, they can call your name because your name was called.
Except though, Marky, except if I on a point of order, here's my point of order, Marky. So someone calls and says, these are the allegations. We're leveling these things for you to putting these things on the table for you to look into this politician. You don't just come and say somebody called and said, no. You look into the allegations, you determine because we've invested them with the capacity. Let me make the point and show you where I think your argument is falling short. So you level, these are the accusations, you look into them, you establish whether or not a prima facie case can be made out against this individual, and then you can make an announcement that you are looking into these are the checks that we've done, an investigation has been launched based on what we found, yada, yada, yada. You don't just take a phone call and then come out and say you're launching an investigation into someone. That wouldn't be responsible. But you check, and if you verify that there's a prima facie case that can be made out based on your check so far, you should be free to hold up to the sunlight of transparency that these people are being investigated. And here's why it's important, gentlemen. We have to engender trust from the public. We have to engender the buy-in from the public that politicians and those other public officials are not above the law. They need to know that they are subjected to the same rigors as ordinary Jamaicans. That is how you engender trust, And when ordinary Jamaicans can say, I can hear my name being associated with something that I'm not guilty of, even before I'm charged formally. Why are the politicians held to a different standard? That is what will continue to engender in the society if we continue along this road.
Tyrone, with respect, that's the aspiration. In the real world,
goodness
we don't operate like that. Think about it, Tyrone. We don't operate like that. Because, remember, all right, you're assuming that whoever is dealing with it at the Integrity Commission is holier than thou. People corroborate, people work together, people carry out their agenda in partnership. People are people. Let's put it that way. People are people. And we hope and strive for better. But until such times, we just have to accept that anything is possible. And we have seen more than enough evidence to suggest that things are not always what they should be.
Thank you, Marky. I appreciate the call.
All
right, my brother. Thank you.
I appreciate it, Marky. I appreciate the reasoning.
Richie, good evening.
Good evening,
sirs.
Good evening.
Bangaman.
Good evening, good evening. Anglia Bangli, number Jenny.
Yes, man. Bangaman. You see, the night before Mark was in a budget presentation, I said to Ricardo, tomorrow will be a good time for him to prove that he renounced to do a citizen. And if he do that, he'll get a stripe. He did not say at the end of his presentation, he said, I'm a Jamaican. We have been called upon him from that to call a press conference and prove that he renounced it. And he refused. So tonight is the last time I'm calling upon him to do it in 1 week. And if he does not do it, we are not going to say we believe he's a dual citizen. We are going to say he's a dual citizen. And then we are going to call up on the uncommitted voters to send him a message at the poll because they keep talking about the next PMP government. So he will the next prime minister, the next PMP government as a dual citizen. So we're not going to support it. My second point.
I don't see an issue with everything you say, except one of the conclusions you've drawn, that if he doesn't produce, you're going to just conclude that he's a dual citizen. That conclusion will be drawn without the requisite evidence, the same evidence you're asking him to present. So that is the only drawback, I think, with your comments so far.
Why? Then if he refuses from doing it, why shouldn't we believe that he's a dual citizen?
You can continue to question it, but you can't conclude, is the point I'm making to you. You can't conclude in the absence of evidence.
We are saying that we are calling upon him to do that.
No,
and
fair. I'm saying that's fair.
Still,
Absolutely fair and in bounds, caller. I'm not. No, this is only one point I'm challenging. The fact that you said if he doesn't produce it, you're going to conclude that. And I'm saying it runs counter to your own argument that he's not presented to the public generally. I gather he, based on reports, he sent it to the Gleaner, Ricardo, but that he presented it to the entire public. I'm not certain he has done that, and there are calls for that. And I believe those calls are reasonable.
Okay, fine. Second point. The Intel Commission pay millions of dollars to private investigators for 6 months to investigate Dr. Warner's statutory deduction. They get the report and refuse from publish it. Why? We are asking them to publish it. You hear me? We are asking them to publish it.
Don't get me started on that one again, sir. There is no way this should have happened. It is unacceptable that the Integrity Commission did not publish the details of the report that was submitted by that international forensic auditor. Absolutely unacceptable.
If you notice what this retired judge saying today, that he's one of the 86, and I believe that's what he's talking about. Because, listen to me, this month it is 2 years and 1 month from the talk about the 86, and Mark Gordon had been out there hammering the government with it, and they did not stop him. So, the conclusion that we come to, that lead us to believe that they are PMB supporters, because they should have stopped him. Up till now, they don't mention.
Should have stopped who? Who should have stopped who?
The Intel Commission. Up till now, they don't. About the 86, who are the 86,
How would they stop?
Yeah, how would they? Yes, how? How would they do that?
No, okay. Like how Mark Gordon had been out there hammering the government. Say, it's not, the 86 is on the JLP side. Because it's an, and they did not mention it. So the Intel Commission did not have a power to tell Mark Gordon that he should stop it.
No. Where would they get that power from?
I believe they are the ones know that. Okay, what they should have done, I believe, knowing that they did not mention them. They should not put out of and say, okay, we did not mention who they are, so no one should be saying that they are there. That they are the ones doing it. Are they one guilty? And if they have done that, we would be satisfied with it.
All right, hear you.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for the call. Don, good evening.
Yeah, that's too much of the Integrity Commission. Good evening, Don.
Hi, Don.
Asking too much.
What's up? Hey, Ricardo, I sent a message with you last night with George, but he was complaining of hunger, so I don't know if he get lost somewhere.
Him eat the message. He eat it.
You say it. Not me. Yes. To be honest, I'm not the lawyer for Everard Warmington. But I want for Mr. Panton to know that Clifford Everard Warmington is an elected representative. People vote for him and send him to Parliament. We don't even know Mr. Panton got that job because I would not employ him. After I heard he went into Parliament and how he behaved, I would fire him immediately. And I suppose what they were hoping for was that the government would fire them and pay them a whole heap of money. And the government refused to do it. So I'm come now with a last lick. And it is really, really, I believe it is unethical. It is unhealthy. I'm ashamed of Justice Panton. Believe you me, and I see a big orange underwear showing. Big, big one. And he should have done much, much better because he was paid by us. And the way he behaved, and even to date, we have not seen the audit report from the international auditor. Who paid those that firm?
It will be taxpayers.
Hello?
It will be taxpayers through the Integrity
We
Commission.
pay, so if we pay, don't we have a right to see it?
Absolutely.
I think we have a right to see it. And I'm so disappointed with Mr. Panton.
But let me challenge your argument that you're offering here now. Clearly, I don't think Justice Panton distinguished himself when he appeared before Parliament, and clearly there are questions about some of the things contained in the report. But you're taking issue with Justice Panton and things he said, and you're okay with the things that the Everard Warmington has said as a
You're not understanding what I'm saying.
If you allow me to get the question out.
No, but you don't understand what I'm saying. I'm saying that the people...
Hold on, Don. Hold on.
Right.
Let him ask the question.
Okay,
Let her go. Go ahead, Don. No, it's all right.
Yes.
No, man, it's fine. You can go ahead.
No, I'm saying Edward Warmington never just go to Parliament. People voted and send him there. So if we want him to withdraw from anything, the people will have to don't vote for him again. We don't have that power. We don't have the
and that justifies the poor display in terms of his behavior because people voted for him. So he's entitled to behave in any which way he pleases because people have voted for him. That's what you're putting on the table now?
You're not understanding what I'm saying. You
clearly are not understanding what you're saying.
Warmington from Parliament. The only people who have that authority and that power is the people like of where? Southwest and Catherine. Them are the only one with the power. None of us can do it.
So that means everybody else should just ignore his poor behavior.
You're still not understanding what I'm saying. We don't have that authority. We not have the power to fire Mr. Warmington.
And neither do you have the power to fire Mr. Panton.
No,
so what is the argument you're making then?
What we did to Mr. Panton, what was done to Mr. Panton, it was like Andrews him just fizz out and him time finish and him come with last lick. Well, we're not taking him last to make him go on in yard. And him don't get no lump sum to this government never fire him and stop his contract. They must stop it. And one of the things I want to say before I come out, because I know a lot of persons want to get on, about Mrs. Lasagna Harrison. I believe, you see, Mrs. Harrison can always go back as president because Mrs. Harrison is a principal of a school with 45 students on roll. So, I mean, there's nothing demanding there. And it's something that the government needs to look at. When these persons are offering themselves and the school, I think this government should find space to put those 45 children and close down that institution because it's not worth it. She got a school with 100 students and it go along to 45 and she's offering herself again before she go and build the school.
Is that so done?
Yes. Go and check on St. Faith's Primary School. Okay. Check on Thomas Monday.
All right.
45 students on roll. Come on.
All right, Don. Junior on.
You know I love you. Bye.
Love you too, Don. Junior on X is reminding us, Tyrone, and it's true, that he says, Ricardo, you forget that the Integrity Commission came out to correct everyone's wrong interpretation of last year's illicit 8 number. They choose to speak when they want to. It is true. They did come out and correct the media, and they named the media houses who had gotten it wrong, including Nationwide. I recall. It's true. So perhaps Richie's right. If they did want to correct what was being said, perhaps
the only difference being, though, Ricardo, that if they come out and say to the opposition leader, stop saying that the people we're investigating are members of the JLP, they would be unwittingly saying that the people they're investigating are PNP members, and then no, that puts them in the position of breaching the gag clause.
Or perhaps they could just say, we have not indicated.
Well, that's safe enough.
Yeah, perhaps.
That's safe enough.
Yeah.
That's safe enough.
630-937-124, 618-8255. Who's next? Carl.
Evening, Ricardo. Evening, Tyrone.
Good evening, Carl.
Greetings, my boss.
Tyrone, Don is perfectly correct.
I'm sure you think so.
Is the people from Mr. Warren can fire Mr. Warren?
Look here. Both you and Don need to stop the foolishness. No, don't tell me anything double. Hold on. We need to stop the foolishness. Everett Warmington's behavior is less than becoming. And you're not going to just come here and excuse his behavior and tell me about the people from the constituency he comes from. Absolute rubbish. And that's why we don't get proper representation. Everett Warmington's behavior is unbecoming in too many instances. So don't come here and try to defend Everett Warmington. It's indefensible. So you went down with the foolishness, so you need to stop it, man.
Are you saying that the people in Mr. Warmington constituency is not getting proper representation? That's what you are saying? Are you saying that?
I think I've said enough about that matter. So you can go ahead and make your point.
Today I heard you, and I was trying to get on to correct you. You see, some of the judge them in Jamaica, a compensation that the government 6 other days, some judge gets up to 300% increase. You can go and check it this weekend.
Up to 300%.
Yes, and some principal get over 200% increase when it
Ricardo, you're in the newsroom. 300% is accurate that some judges got?
I think I'm safer saying 150%. I can't think of which category of judge, because the Chief Justice may have moved by about 200%. Court of Appeal, 150 is what I'm comfortable saying. I'd have to check again. Which category of judge are you referring?
Ricardo, check it, please.
The Chief Justice got a 28 million.
From where I'm coming from. From where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I do the maths in my head. I feel like it's more like 200%, Carl. I don't think it's 300.
Right. Anyhow, Ricardo, I left you with that.
But I'll check.
Yeah, Tyrone was on it.
You know what? So you've inspired a comment on our YouTube, Carl, that I want to address. People asking me about Dayton Campbell and his behavior. I'm on record on this station, you know. As saying Dayton Campbell has no business being the General Secretary of the People's National Party because of his loose cannon nature. I'm on record here as saying that, folks, we need to demand better from people. Don't just tell me that we need to vote them out at the end of the day. We need to hold them accountable while they're in office.
Anyhow, Ricardo, Tyrone, Dana Scott Matley got too wild egg in our face again. Whosoever is giving him information from the IC, give her a false information that she feels that she could have run with again. I think what...
Hold on. How you conclude that she get information from the IC?
Ricardo.
No, God, man.
No, Carl. No, man. That made no sense whatsoever. All she said is that she found it strange. I mean, she turned out to have been wrong. But she said she found it strange that she thought they were trying to shut down the parliament. She never suggests how the Integrity Commission would know when they're going to prorogue the parliament.
Sanjay.
This is Ricardo.
Ricardo, you're a big man in Jamaica. I'm a 60-year-old, a long time with you.
Oh, so you just assume and just tar everybody because you think that... No, Carl. Just vibes. No, Carl. There is nothing that suggests that somebody in the Integrity Commission told her anything.
Ricardo,
Senator Scott Motley should apologize, to be clear.
And she won't do
to be clear, she should apologize because she told the people in Eastern St. Andrew. She told the people in Eastern St. Andrew that there was something nefarious afoot, and that turned out not to be true.
How they apply, because that is what they want to carry down the goal. You know what Dana Scott Matley to do? A time when she sit back and waste her time with that is ask the white man that she's around, do you have an age paper for Jamaica?
Carl?
Do your attorney...
Look here, when are you guys going to abandon this race-based politics? Seriously, when are you guys going to abandon that?
I don't understand, you know what it is, Ricardo, and I understand because you was young. Ricardo, let me tell you something, Ricardo.
I have a winning hand, you know, because you catch somebody in a matter where Ricardo is saying it requires an apology, and you dash for the winning hand by drawing some conclusion that you don't have no evidence to support. Come on, Carl, man, you must do better, you know.
Tyrone, I'm not dashing nowhere, no winning. Well, Tyrone, let me tell you something, Tyrone. I went to one church over Portmore when Eddie Seago was the leader of the opposition. I don't heard much about that pastor anymore. And when he was preaching over the dead body with who inside there, I listen to him. Until we inside there who can listen and understand. That is a shame for people will stand up or listen to somebody when I favor them, a pastor over Portmore. And when I look today and see black people are looking for all Ravenheims, we could even bat 1 century in a cricket match, so black, and sit down around a white man and put on chain on black man neck. It is time for us to have some shame.
No, that chain incident is definitely unacceptable. But Carl, stop the race-based politics. It's unbecoming. You need to stop it. Hold on, man. The fact that Mr. Mark Golding or any Caucasian person who let's say, who was born in Jamaica, shouldn't be disqualified from representing, from becoming the prime minister of the country, simply on the basis of the fact that their skin color is white. We cannot go down that road. That helps no one, you know.
Or Mr. Siago did come a member of parliament and give up for him citizenship. The newspaper have to tackle Golding, the white man, one Sunday evening, because everybody was asking the white man before. And every time they ask the white British citizen, he hold up the black man passport.
I hear you, Carl. Yeah, I know that you're not going to ease off this one. It's not the first time you've called and got on the line of race. We've cautioned you against it, but you want to continue, so we'll allow you to wallow in the mire.
I am into an election now, which Mr. Siago, then you should tell all Colonel Charles in the parliament, you sit down and listen to a wife and look on for your head. So why now? Me in an election mood. Election me I deal with now.
And you think this is a winning argument?
No at all.
The white man should go pan in banana boat, go on back to England.
All right, Carl. I think we're running out of time. But thank you for the call, though, Carl, and enjoy the weekend. I want to read something here that the Special Select Committee, Ricardo, reviewing the scope and magnitude of a law addressing the care and protection of the elderly, and concluded its work, and tabled a report of the committee in the Senate, and it will be debated. That report will be debated at the next Senate sitting. 6 months, 1 week, and 2 days to the day. And I think they're really doing some good work in the Senate on that particular piece of legislation, and it should be highlighted. Shireen Golding Campbell, government senator, has been doing lots of heavy lifting in that regard, and we say congratulations to Senator Shireen Golding Campbell, and of course all the other members of the Senate who are contributing to that bill there. It's a much needed piece of legislation.
Agreed. And I checked, the Chief Justice's salary increase, Carl, was actually 133%. That was the increase. Obviously, there are other categories of judges. We'll have to see what that was, but I rather doubt the 300%.
Yeah, me too.
Thanks to our producer, Dana Davey, Andrew Glenn Anderson, the man behind the controls, my colleagues in the newsroom, our callers, contributors, and your valued listeners. We appreciate you so much. My name is Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Tyrone Reed. Good evening.
Jamaica, it's